Back in Austin, Texas, just moments away from the 26th meeting all time between the Longhorns and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They first met in 1916. The Longhorns have dominated the series. They had won 12 straight dating back to 1997 before Oklahoma State came here to Austin and hammered Texas last year as the Cowboys ran up 532 yards of offense in a 33-16 win. They've never defeated Texas in back-to-back years. They have a chance to accomplish that today. Oklahoma State won the toss and deferred, so Quinn Sharp will kick off. Junior from Mansfield, Texas. One of 70 Texans on the Oklahoma State team. And he'll kick it away to Fozzie Whitaker, who brought one back 100 yards for a touchdown last week against Oklahoma. One of the few Texas highlights in that game. Quandre Diggs, the freshman, also back. Sharp leading the nation in touchbacks for the third year in a row. And he'll add to that total as the ball landed 9 yards deep in the end zone and skipped out. So in recent weeks, Mack Brown has been alternating quarterbacks, the youngsters Case McCoy and David Ash, and today David Ash, the true freshman, will make his first start for the Longhorns. And Mack Brown told us yesterday, Matt, he'd like to settle on one quarterback. You got the sense today they were going to give Ash the chance not only to start, but go for a while and see if he can establish himself as their #1 quarterback.
And you know, Sean, one of the things that he does better than McCoy is run. And they're going to have to run to control the football in this game.
Opens out of the pistol and handed it off to Fozzie Whitaker, the senior, with a quality gain. Out of bounds at the 27-yard line. They'll mark it at the 28, a pickup of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Here's a look at today's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. It's a very young Texas offense. True freshman Jackson Shipley, far and away their leading receiver. And their leading rusher is another true freshman, Malcolm Brown, is averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Already has a 110-yard game to his credit against UCLA. Ash takes the handoff and goes to the 32. 4 yards and a first down for Ash, who's a big guy, 6'3", 222 pounds. The impact players from Chick-fil-A for the Oklahoma State defense. Another Texan, Jamie Blatnick, the leader of a good front. Team high 3 sacks for Blatnick. Roderick Brown emerging as one of the best cornerbacks in the country. 3 interceptions to lead the team. 1st and 10, Longhorns.
Ash changed something at the line of scrimmage. Sees something he likes.
They bring a blitz off the corner. And Malcolm Brown, the hard-earned yard. Shetty Jones and Sean Lewis combine on the stop.
Sean, you mentioned about David Ash, and he's a big kid, and he's a physical kid. He also has great speed, and he can make you miss. And so I think that alone right there is one of the main reasons that we're seeing him here today, because he's got to use his feet to get himself out of trouble.
They spread the formation now as Ash goes out of the gun. Zings one to his left, intended for Jackson Shipley. Broderick Brown right there in coverage. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
And this is exactly where Texas did not want to be. 3rd and long. They don't want to be here all day long. Because I got to tell you, this offensive line a week ago really struggled, particularly their tackles. Now, Oklahoma State does not have a great pass rush, but it's a consistent rush. And if they play the way they did a week ago, this offensive line, they'll struggle again.
Oklahoma sacked the Texas quarterbacks 8 times last week. They bring 5 on the rush to the Cowboys, and an errant throw as Ash was not on the same page as Marquise Goodwin. After picking up a 1st down, the Longhorns will punt. Another task for the Longhorns on offense today to get more touches for the very speedy Marquise Goodwin. Outstanding track athlete, one of the best long jumpers in the world. Justin Tucker to punt. Josh Cooper Tried to swing away and could not. Well covered by the Longhorns, and finally Alex Zumberge got him on the ground. 39-yard punt. And a loss of 2 on the return. Here's Sam Steele.
Guys, offensive coordinator Todd Monken for Oklahoma State said if we're running the ball, we're probably tired, but don't expect to see that anytime soon. I talked to Coach Gundy yesterday, and he said, we don't really do the whole long practice traditional thing. 45 minutes on Sunday, no practice Monday, and never longer than an hour 45. That means a tough go for this secondary at Texas. Blake Gideon is dealing with an Achilles injury. He's usually the guy that gets everybody lined up. It's going to be interesting, guys.
A lot of pressure on him against this very high-tempo Oklahoma State team. They cause problems with their talent and the pace with which they play. Weeden sets up a quick screen. There'll be a lot of those today. Justin Blackmon dropped immediately by Adrian Phillips, sophomore corner, part of a very young Texas secondary. Let's see how quickly they get the next play snapped. Less than 10 seconds. And it is incomplete. Intended for Josh Cooper. Wasn't really turned toward the ball. Blake Gideon was running to get there in coverage. And the track meet continues. 3rd and 10. And by the standards, particularly the last couple of weeks, this is a long time to get the play off for Weeden and the Cowboy offense. Crowd trying to help a very young Texas defense. They bring a blitz. Weeden throws deep. And over the head of Blackmon. Carrington Bindum, another youngster in the secondary, sophomore, had the coverage.
You know what I like right here, Sean, is Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator, was not afraid at all to bring pressure. And when he does that, that means he's trusting his young secondary. And they are young, particularly on the corners. Good series. They need that.
So a rare 3 and out for Oklahoma State. They scored 8 touchdowns on 8 possessions in the first half last week against Kansas. Sharp, under a pretty good rush, got the punt off, and as usual, it's a good kick. Jackson Shipley from the 15 with a 7-yard return, taken down by Justin Gilbert. 60-yard punt by Quinn Sharp, matching his longest punt of the season. Sean McDonough, Matt Millen, Samantha Steele back in Austin, Texas. No score. Each team has had it once. Longhorn offense trying to improve over its performance of last week against Oklahoma. They ran 81 plays from scrimmage, 35 of them for lost yardage or no gain. That is 43% of the time. That includes 16 incomplete passes. In the previous game, a win at Iowa State, they had no gain or negative yardage in only 18% of their plays. It was a rough week on offense. Ash out firing to Mike Davis up the near sideline and banged out of bounds about a yard short of the first down by Markel Martin, one of the hardest hitting safeties in the country. Ryan Harsin is the offensive coordinator in his first year at the University of Texas after a terrific run at Boise State.
And you know, a lot have been said about all the motions and shifts and all those things are designed for a reason. That last play, they just motioned to try to get a trips look and get the screen. They do basically the same plays, John. They try to get there from different looks.
Malcolm Brown threw a big hole up the middle. First down to the 45-yard line. Justin Gilbert chopped him down, a gain of 14 yards for the freshman.
Well, and when your offensive line can get holes like this, nice job inside Espinoza. Good job by Mason Walters in there. When they can do that, then they've got themselves a shot because they have to be able to control this line of scrimmage.
David Ash out there for the second straight series. We believe they'll give him a chance to run for a while. Of course, that assumes some success. Malcolm Brown stacked up after a gain of a yard. Will be 2nd and 9. Jamie Blatnick made the tackle. It is an Oklahoma State defense for which the numbers are kind of ugly. They're 103rd in the country in total defense out of 120. They're 103rd against the pass for Bill Young, but the numbers are very deceiving because they've been so far ahead in so many games and their offense scores so quickly. A lot of times the regulars aren't in there in the second half. That was the case last week against Kansas. A lot of the damage has been done to the 2s and 3s in that defense. Right now it's the 1s being gouged, however. Mike Davis weaves his way down to the 34 of Oklahoma State. Let's check into the studio. Here's Robert Flores.
All right, Sean, Taco Bell studio update. Number 15, South Carolina struggled but beat Mississippi State 14-12. Connor Shaw to Alshon Jeffrey. The ominous news for the Gamecocks is Marcus Lattimore left the game with a brace on his knee and on crutches. Jannard Robinson left and came back for Michigan, but they lost to the Spartans 28-14.
Fourth year in a row, Sparty has won in that in-state rivalry. After a 19-yard gain on the pass play, Fozzie Whitaker loses yardage. Loss of 2. Nigel Nicholas, the defensive tackle, made the play. That's been a question mark in their defense, but they think the tackle's been better, and Nicholas has been terrific all year.
Not a real big group inside. They have pretty good movement. Their strength really of those down 4 of their defensive ends, Rashedi Jones 99 and Jamie Blatnick on the other side.
5 minutes played, no score. Out of the gun, David Ash zips one down the middle. It's intercepted. Picked off by Caleb Levy. Another native Texan from Salina, north of Dallas. 10-yard return by Levy of his first interception of the year. Mack Brown said yesterday, the one thing we cannot do is turn it over. They committed 5 of them last week against Oklahoma.
And this one comes to you courtesy of Levy. And what it is a nice read, good diagnostician from the start, and then good patience. And he's able to get dropped right where the quarterback's looking. He read Ash's eyes and came up with a nice pick.
18th takeaway of the season for the Oklahoma State defense. That leads the Big 12. They're 6th in the country in takeaways. So not all the defensive numbers are ugly. As we said, they're skewed. Joseph Randall with the first down of the day for Oklahoma State on the Cowboys' second possession. 15-yard run for their leading rusher, and he took it to the 49 of Texas.
Well, they spread you out, and then defensively you have to make a choice.
Here they come quickly again with Randall, dragging tacklers with him to the 40-yard line. Finally, Emmanuel Acho, the leading tackler of the year for Texas, was able to wrestle him down.
Sean, the choice you have to make are what numbers are you going to put in the box? And if you have 5 or 6, they're going to run at you because they can block that.
Well, it'll be the priority for Manny Diaz. He said, we're going to defend the pass first. So here they come with the run again. Reading the numbers, Weeden and Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, and Randall got just enough for the first down inside the 39-yard line of Texas.
Keep in mind, when you're a one-back set, that's called 10 personnel. One back, no tight ends. That means you have 5 down linemen. So you're going to take your 5 and block their 5.
And the defense hopes that they can win enough of those battles to stop the run. Great throw. Cooper the catch. The ball comes out, and they're going to mark Cooper down inside the 1-yard line. 37-yard completion. The ground caused the fumble. 1st and goal from the 1 for the Cowboys.
And Weeden caused the great throw. That is a great throw on top of coverage. Right where it had to be. The only place really, Sean, that it could be because he had coverage.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was down short of the goal line. The previous play is under further review.
We'll go to the replay booth and make sure that Cooper was down before he lost the ball.
That's Christian Scott, who had great. Now he's down right there. Ooh, I don't know. Let's see where the ball. I can't tell if he has
the ball coming out by that point.
I can't tell if he just has it in his hand.
He's extending the ball to try to get it across the goal line.
It looks like he's coming down right there. He still has control. There's it. Yeah, it looks like it starts to come out right down there, and his elbow's down, as is his lower leg.
Well, did you think his elbow was down before it started to come out?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's what caused it to come out.
His knees might already be down there too.
But what a great throw, Sean, because Christian Scott had excellent coverage. That ball had to be just had enough trajectory on it to start its downward slope. And then what a nice catch on the backside there.
Of course, they also could be looking to see if this should have been a touchdown. I don't think that's the case because his elbow hit
The ruling on the field stands as called. Runner was down short of the goal line. First and goal.
I think that's a good call.
Yeah, they didn't say it was confirmed, so I just think they felt like there wasn't enough evidence to overturn it, and that seemed to be true. So first and goal for the Cowboys.
We had this Cowboy team against A&M a few weeks ago, and Cooper and the Swope kid from A&M, they are really good. Both a lot alike. Good players.
So it's at least one pass now of 31 yards or more for Oklahoma State in 14 straight games. They hit big ones every week. And a touchdown for Joseph Randall. A lot of times when they get in close, Jeremy Smith takes over as the featured back, but Randall carries in for his 9th touchdown of the year. And the highest scoring team in the country is on the board less than midway through the first quarter.
Mac Brown said they couldn't commit turnovers. They had to win the turnover battle. They're down 1-0, and now they're down 7-0. Or 6.
And probably 7 with Sharp, the kicker. The extra point good. Great emphasis at Oklahoma State on takeaways. And it's been paying off for the Cowboys this year. Levy the interception. And then they went 64 yards in 5 plays in just a minute 17 to score.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Cadillac. And John Hancock Mutual Funds. Visit jhfunds.com.
When Bevo's not working here at Texas home games, he can be found relaxing at his spacious digs just outside Austin, Sunrise Ranch in Liberty Hill, Texas. Well, the turnovers were a killer last week for Mac Brown. Texas turned it over 5 times, 3 of them directly run in by the Oklahoma State defense. First turnover this day leads to an Oklahoma State touchdown. Quinn Sharp kicks off. Fozzie Whittaker's going to try it. Flag down. As he went to the far side of the field, there was a flag thrown a long way away from the ball. Andre May made the tackle for Oklahoma State. 36-yard return might be wiped out by an illegal block that was a long way from where Fozzie Whittaker was. Really unnecessary.
There's no foul on the play for holding. First down.
It'll still be David Ash at quarterback. He threw 2 interceptions last week as part of the 5 turnovers committed by Texas. Case McCoy lost a couple of fumbles. The other quarterback, of course, Garrett Gilbert, was the quarterback at the start of the year for Texas. But he struggled, was injured, and has decided to leave the program. He was the quarterback through most of last season when they endured the 5-7 year. Ash kept it and got tackled by Caleb Levy. He did lunge ahead for 2 yards.
That's kind of what I expected with David Ash. They would start to use his legs and get it integrated into this thing because, again, they can't have a 3-and-out. They have to be able to hold on to the ball. And the other part of that equation, Sean, is they've got to get points. They can't just hold on to the ball and get nothing.
Malcolm Brown, the running back. This time Ash gave it to him. Powerful run from the freshman. 6 feet, 217 pounds. He crossed the 40. 3-yard gain to the 41. 3rd down and 5 to come for Texas midway through the first quarter.
It's fun to watch that Malcolm Brown. You can see why he was with the top recruits in the country. He's got good power. He's got good speed. Runs behind his pads. He's going to need some help. I don't care how good you are. You need some help out of your up front people. That's where Texas has to get better.
I think they have offensive line help coming in their next recruiting class. Ash throws. First down. Mike Davis. Second catch of the day for Davis. Good for 8 yards to the 49-yard line. 1st and 10.
Nicely done by the offensive line. It's picked up, and the ball's out of his hand fast. So you got the nice quick route. It's a good job of understanding exactly where the sticks are. Mike Davis sits down. The ball's there right away.
18 catches this year. He had 47 last season to set the Texas freshman record. Still waiting for playmakers to emerge. They think they have players capable of it. They just need to do it more often. Ash ran away, found Davis in the Cowboy territory. They're going to mark him out at the 45-yard line. A gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4.
Sean, they believe they have some potential playmakers. Mike Davis is one of them. And the ability to improvise by the quarterback and his ability to find Davis are the keys.
The handoff to DJ Monroe. He got away from Sean Lewis behind the line of scrimmage and carries for a 1st down. He's one of the speedier members of this Texas offense. He got to the 39. Good for a 6-yard run.
You know, when you're putting this thing together, if you're Mac Brown, there's a lot of ingredients that you have. You do have speed. You do have some guys who have some big play capabilities. You just have to get it all together in the same pot. And right now, they're trying to find the right combination to get those ingredients on the same page.
They've rushed for 38. That surpasses their total of all of last week against Oklahoma. The Ash's pass behind Davis and incomplete. Last week, Texas rushed for 36 yards on 45 attempts against the Sooners. Mac Brown said we need a great day rushing, maybe even as many as 200 yards if we're going to be successful and keep that Oklahoma State offense off the field. Bunch formation to the right. See a lot of motions and shifts in different formations. Called by Brian Harsin. DJ Monroe dragged down from behind by Jamie Blackmon. Loss on the play back to the 41-yard line.
You know, I started watching these Cowboys a few years back, and Jamie Blackmon was just a sophomore who was playing, and you could see what he had. And what he really does have, he's got really good strength, John. You and I talked about it the last time we had them. He's a 500-pound bencher. And sometimes it doesn't translate onto the field. With him, it does. You can see it in his hands, his upper body strength. He'll manhandle a guy.
A terrific game last week against Kansas. And the starters played really less than a half. They scored 70 points against the Jayhawks. On 3rd and 12, Ash gets away in the open field. Still work to do to get a 1st down. He didn't quite get there, but he got within 2.5 yards. Caleb Levy and Justin Gilbert the tackle. 9-yard gain and a decision now for Mac Brown. There's virtually no wind in the stadium. And from here would be a 49-yard field goal. Tucker has the leg to do that. But Mac Brown, knowing you're probably going to have to outscore this Oklahoma State bunch, looks like he's going to go for the 1st down on 4th and 3.
And it'll also give your offensive line a shot of confidence. Come off the ball.
5 receivers, 3 to the left, and now they bring Whitaker back in motion to the right. Blitz. Ash's pass is batted down and falls incomplete, and Oklahoma State takes over on downs.
That would surprise me. I thought they'd try Whitaker inside. Nigel Nicholas does a nice job of getting his hands up, knocks it down. Oklahoma State will take over when we come back.
College football action continues tonight on ESPN and ESPN2 with a full slate of games. ESPN2 showcases 2 of the top 3 teams in the nation. Number 2 Alabama taking on Ole Miss at 6. Then number 3 Oklahoma versus Kansas at 9:15 on ESPN at 10:15. Another top 25 matchup. 18th ranked Arizona State visits number 9 Oregon.
That one's going to be a great game, Sean. That Osweiler kid he can throw. I'm anxious to watch that one.
You think Alabama and Oklahoma would cruise against inferior opponents. Brandon Weeden hands it off to Joseph Randall. Well, so far, Matt, Texas has executed a lot of its game plan. They've had a decided edge in time of possession. They've had the ball for nearly 9 minutes. They've run 20 plays to only 9 for Oklahoma State. But as we've seen a number of times in recent years, the Cowboys don't need much time to do damage.
Yeah, and they also, the one thing they didn't do, Sean, you and I talked about it in commercial, they need points. They needed to score in that last drive.
We've had a costly turnover. The flip to Josh Cooper, and he's dragged down behind the line of scrimmage by Jackson Jeffcoat, the defensive end. They'll mark the ball back at the 26, a loss of 4. It'll be 3rd and 16.
Watch, see 44 right there. That's a nice job of good discipline, using his hands, getting up the field off of Adcock. 73, maintains the leverage, sets up a big 3rd down.
Brandon Weeden out of the gun. 4 wide receivers, 3 to his right. Weeden turned 28 years old yesterday. Dumps it off short. Randall has a lot of run after the catch to perform, and he can't quite get to the marker. Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator, has his team with another 3 and out. That's 2 of them against this potent Cowboy attack, and Diaz and the Longhorn fans appreciate it.
Yeah, they do, and they need to get this crowd into it. And when you're going to just rush 3 and drop 8, you increase your chances in your coverage of being able to keep the down the field throws from happening. They did a great job of forcing it underneath.
Sharp got the punt off. Longhorns let it bounce and almost ran into it. Wasn't touched by Texas. The Cowboys say yes. The officials haven't pointed yet, and they might confer about it. Whose ball is it?
Looked like they kicked it, Sean.
Did it hit Sherrod Evans? There's been no gesture from either of the officials who were closest.
The ruling on the field is the receiving team player was forced into the ball. No forced touching is no touching. Touches ball, 1st and 10.
No forced touching is no touching. I've never heard that one before.
I think he just made it up right there.
He might have, but it may stick. It's kind of catchy. Yeah, he definitely kicked it as he got engaged with Kyle Hale. And Sherrod Evans is lucky because in that situation, get away from the ball.
Yes, absolutely. That's a first one for me. I never heard that one before.
A handoff to DJ Monroe coming across the formation. And he's out to the 31-yard line. Gain of 8 on 1st down. 2nd and 2 to come. Broderick Brown made the stop.
Well, this is just trying to use speed to get to the edge. And you mentioned it earlier, Monroe is one of the guys who does have really good speed. And so they're trying to punch him in the stomach by running inside earlier with Whitaker, Brown, and now they'll take Monroe to the edge and try to spread that thing.
2 minutes to go, 1st quarter. 7-0 Oklahoma State. Jackson Shipley went in motion. They fake the handoff to him. The middle wide open for Malcolm Brown. In the Cowboy territory. To the 42-yard line. 27 yards on the rumble for Brown.
Nicely blocked on the inside. You see 55 Espinoza. A nice job by David Snow, 78. The guard, and then it's just right up inside. Just power football. I like Brown. I think he's got to lower his pad level a little bit. He's pretty good.
Here he comes again. Hit behind the line of scrimmage by Nigel Nicholas. Let's check in with Robert Flores and get an update.
All right, guy number 12, Georgia Tech, facing its largest deficit of the season, down 14-0 to Virginia after Michael Rocco hits Tim Smith. And the Cavaliers are back in the red zone and looking for more. Virginia up 14-0 into 1. Sean.
Even though they're a running attack, that Georgia Tech team can score very quickly, averaging more yards per play than any team in the nation. 8 yards per play. That play was slow developing. And it's Nicholas again to drop Fozzie Whitaker for a loss way back to the 48-yard line.
Well, it's just a stunt that's called from the sideline. That's a stunt inside. But Nigel Nicholas, he executes it with perfection. Again, that's the movement part of him that they get.
The last 3 times Texas has had the ball, they've moved into Oklahoma State territory. The previous 2 ended with an interception and a turnover on downs. Final seconds of the quarter. Ash under duress. Tackled and then lost the ball. He's down by contact. Daquan Lowe on a safety blitz with a 12-yard loss.
Sean, that's on the quarterback. He's got to be able to see it. We've talked about it many times. If you can't see it, you can't play it. This time he did not recognize it coming off the edge, and it got him.
Can't see it, you can't play it, and forced touching is no touching.
We're just making all kinds of rules up today.
Texas has touched the ball a lot on offense with nothing to show for it. 7-0 Oklahoma State after 1. Welcome back to Austin, Texas. Oklahoma State leading Texas 7-0 as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championship. Oklahoma State with championship aspirations both in the Big 12 and the national championship as well. 4th and 28 for Texas. Longhorns from their own 40 to punt. Rugby punt by Justin Tucker. Lands at the 20. Again, the Cowboys now need to get away from it. Texas saying it was touched by Oklahoma State. They come up with the football, and the officials say it is Longhorn ball on the recovery by Tevin Jackson.
That was not a forced touch. He backed into it, and that is on the punt returner. The punt returner has got to echo back to everybody to get away from the ball. It's a hot ball, and they need to get that out. He apparently did not get it out. And Andre May right there got touched.
Hitting the back of the right leg. And as you can see, he's just standing there. Nobody forced him into it. Cooper got close. I think he realized there was a potential problem with May as near as he was. Well, Mac Brown said we're going to need some help from Oklahoma State in all likelihood. We're going to pull off the upset, and they get some help there.
The previous play is under further review.
Sean, when we watched the replay, I did see Josh Cooper waving his arms, and it looked like he was yelling to get guys out of the way. You have to be, when you're on punt coverage, you have to be able. You have to be running. You have to be listening, especially in these situations. You see him right there.
Yep. Now the question, I guess, might be, did it hit a Texas player first? No, it didn't. I don't know what they're looking at. It seemed pretty clear. It hit May in the back of the leg.
Yeah.
And then Jackson recovered for Texas.
You could see Cooper. He's right there. See, he's trying to get him away. He's got to be screaming, but nobody moved.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The ball touched the receiving team player. It'll be 1st and 10 for Texas.
Not to quibble, but I think that's one time the replay booth could have just let it go. It was pretty clear on the first view. That's exactly what happened.
Well,
however,
they guess they didn't follow our advice.
Just want to make sure there was no forced touching, because as we know, forced touching is no touching.
No touching at all.
15-yard line, the line of scrimmage for the Texas offense. Ash gave it to Malcolm Brown. Touchdown.
Well blocked on that left side, Sean. It's a good job by that offensive line, who a week ago struggled. Trey Allen up there, David Snow, Espinoza the center, Cody Johnson, the big fullback.
A 15-yard touchdown run by Brown, who's rushed for 61 yards already, and the extra point is just barely good. from Justin Tucker. It looked like Cade McCrary might have been juggling the hold just a bit. Oklahoma State did not commit a turnover last week against Kansas. They make a mistake here in the second quarter, and the Horns need only one play to capitalize. Malcolm Brown, a 15-yard touchdown run after the problem on the punt for Oklahoma State. It's the second rushing touchdown of the year in his career for the true freshman Brown.
That's Cody Johnson, number 11. Marquise Goodwin outside, number 84. And it's just a true freshman right here. That's a really nice job by Josh Cochran. That was exactly how you draw it up. And when you get a body on a body like that, and everybody's doing their job, that makes the runner's job a lot easier.
Josh Cochran, true freshman at left tackle, making his first start. He had a good week of practice. They've struggled a bit this year at the tackle spots. They really believe that their tackles who are playing are really better suited to be guards, but have to play tackle out of necessity, and they're giving the best effort they can. Good kickoff by Justin Tucker. No chance for Hubert Anium to return it. So take a look at the Pacific Life game summary. Each team with a turnover that's led to the other's score. And we mentioned the formula for Texas. Hold on to the ball, keep this Oklahoma State Cowboy offense off the field, and they've done that to perfection so far.
And lost in all that right there was the 2 series of 3 and outs. That was big for Texas defense.
First 5 games combined, only 8 3 and outs total. Some of those when the second team offense was in the ball game. In routes, 2 of their 3 possessions today have gone 3 and out for Brandon Weeden. He's on target for another first down. Just the one drive they didn't go 3 and out, they scored in just 5 plays. Justin Blackmon the catch and a 14-yard gain.
So things are slowing down a little bit. Your defense gave up some points. You got a turnover. Let's get things straight. What do? Go right to Justin Blackmon. He's the guy.
Big numbers again this year, but they're a little bit down because he's been seeing even more double coverage than a year ago when he won the Bolitnikoff Award as the best receiver in the country. Catch made in traffic by Tracy Moore. He got popped by Blake Gideon, but held on to the football. 10 yards and another first down for Oklahoma State.
And they're up tempo right now. It's called now tempo.
Means they want to snap the ball right now. Weeden going deep in the coverage, and it is intercepted by Carrington Bindum.
Bindum did the right thing. He stayed on top of Justin Blackmon. And then this is where Blackmon has to go to transition and become a defender. When the ball's in the air, you cannot let him catch this ball. Well, I don't know if he came down inbounds of that one, Sean.
Yeah, and it did look like maybe at first blush the field judge was waving it as incomplete.
That might be an incomplete pass.
And had a change of heart. Bobby Abels, then he ran into Bindum.
Well, he gave him a chest bump. Let's see if he comes down in inbounds first. Now he's pushed, but he lands out of bounds. I think his chest might be the first thing to hit. But because he's being hit by Blackmon.
Does he get a foot in bounds? Does that right foot touch the ground? I think it did.
He might have, his upper body may have hit first. Oh no, you're right, his foot touched.
His right elbow lands out of bounds, but if his foot touches the ground,
then that's, and he is
possession
forced
of the ball.
Let's see if that foot doesn't touch down first.
Well, he has the ball.
Right
his
foot, right?
Toes on the ground.
Doesn't look like it did.
Well, you see both spots there, the rubber pellets in this field turf fly up, which would indicate his feet made contact with the ground. Unless it was Blackmon's feet causing that.
Review, the ruling on the field is reversed. The first thing to hit out of bounds was his elbow. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Oklahoma State at the 45-yard line.
Now, I don't know, and I apologize for this one because I usually know these things dead cold. But I don't know where they are with the rule in terms of being forced out, because Blackmon hit him inbounds and forced him out. Now I know at the next level it doesn't matter. You have to come down with both feet in. College level,
You just need 1 foot in.
Just 1 foot.
So a break perhaps for Oklahoma State. It looked like Bynum's right foot might have touched the ground before his elbow came down out of bounds. They throw it up for grabs again. And Bynum breaks that one up. Again looking for Blackmon. Well, it was a Texas secondary under siege a week ago against Oklahoma, doing a much better job of winning the battles here today. 3rd and 10. Blitz coming. Weeden gets it off and throws short and behind Justin Blackmon.
I really like the way Manny Diaz is trusting his young secretary. Bynum had a heck of a series right there, but he wasn't alone. There was good coverage all on that field down there by good young players.
And you think they have talent on that defense. Just very young, particularly in the secondary. Of course, Manny Diaz is young, just 37 years old. First year's defensive coordinator here. Took over for Will Muschamp, who left to become the head coach at Florida. So here's Quinn Sharp. He'd be the leading punter in the nation if he had enough punts to qualify. He did not have enough coming in. He might get to the number today. Seeing more action than usual. Touchback. 55-yard punt, net of 35. Tied at 7, second quarter in Austin.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, brought to you by Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy. AT&T, get it faster with 4G. Rethink possible. And Ally Bank, no nonsense, just people sense.
Look at some of the exhibits inside the Bobby Moses Jr. Mike Campbell football trophy room. Paying tribute to great Longhorn teams and individual greats like Earl Campbell.
Oh, is he ever special?
Heisman Trophy winner 1977. 1st and 10, Texas. Longhorns from their own 20. Malcolm Brown sheds a block behind the line of scrimmage. Gets 7. Chopped down by Broderick Brown.
Yeah, a little bit of his Earl Campbell going right there. And he wants to be like Earl. He's going to have to get his pads down a little bit lower. He's got the skills. He's got
averaging
some good power.
76 yards per game rushing, 3rd among true freshmen in the country. He's already rushed for 68 today. As a team, they're up to 85. On pace for that goal to 200 that Mac Brown set yesterday. Brown again, spun down for a loss. He kept battling, but finally Joe Mitchell came over the top of the pile to help Sean Lewis.
They wanted to stay in 3rd and manageable, Sean, which is usually at least 4 yards and less. Up until this 3rd down, they've been averaging over 10 yards to go on 3rd down.
I think that's why they ran on 2nd down and relatively short. Wanted to make it a really short 3rd down. Didn't anticipate the lost yardage on the run. Fozzie Whitaker next to Ash. Ash hit as he throws, and it's a 1st down. Big first half for Mike Davis, his 5th catch. Broderick Brown made the tackle. Gain of 8. 1st and 10, Texas.
Working against a good corner, and also he's going to get some pressure off down here by Jamie Blatnick, right over here. See that?
Well,
I don't know what happened there. Now here's Broderick Brown right here. That guy is a little bulldog.
Are you working with new toys this week?
I don't know what the heck
You
happened.
just bump into the
I must have.
Illustrator and your excitement over this competitive game between 2 top 25 teams. Timeout called by Texas.
Timeout.
.12 to go till halftime. 7-all the score.
I'm Robert Flores with his studio update. When last we left you, Georgia Tech was down 14-0 to unranked Virginia, but number 12 comes right back. Rod Weeden, 32-yard pick six. Cuts it back across towards the far sideline, and they're tied on ESPNU. Number 1 LSU leading Tennessee 7-0. Sean, you can call me Roflo.
There you go. I heard Linda Cohn refer to our good friend Robert Flores that last night. Roflo is a hard-working man. He was on the late Sports Center last night on ESPN, and here he is. Back to duty. Malcolm Brown back to duty. Runs across the 35, gained 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 for Texas. 12 minutes to go, first half. They're tied at 7 with Oklahoma State. And if you believe in such things, even though Texas is a big underdog today, history is on their side. They have never lost the game immediately following the Red River rivalry game with Oklahoma under Mac Brown. They're 13-0 the next week as they got hammered by Oklahoma. Now they're holding their own with the number 6 team in the country today. David Ash out of the pistol. Lateral to DJ Monroe. That spun around. Got just across the 40-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 3. Caleb Levy the stop for Oklahoma State.
Well, and I think, Sean, what Mac Brown wanted to be able to do was trust his offensive line. And I think to this point right now, he has. He's been able, and especially with the left tackle is just a freshman, Josh Cochran. He's put a lot on him. He's run behind him, and they've let him alone one-on-one in pass protection as well.
They ruled that a forward pass, so it is a completion for Ash, his 6th, the first to somebody other than Mike Davis. 3rd down and 3. Ash throws. Davis again. Dropped the ball. Is it a catch? No, it's an incomplete pass. Break for Texas because Oklahoma State was on it. Broderick Brown, the coverage, a ball Davis should have caught for a 1st down.
Well, he's just an off coverage. He just drops it. That's nice by Brown to be able to get his hands in there, but you got to make that catch. Was well protected. The ball's where it had to be. Should have been a 1st down.
I wonder if that's worth another look from the replay booth. They've already been very interactive today. And that was at least worth checking for a catch and then a fumble, especially after the immediate recovery by Oklahoma State. Rugby punt. What a catch on the line drive by Josh Cooper. Wow. Low line drive. He came running up, caught it on the run, and went out of bounds on the far sideline. 35-yard punt, 12-yard return. Going to mark it at the 37 of Oklahoma State. Today's Aflac trivia question. Did we lose the duck or did I just not hear him?
Yeah, I heard him.
Did you?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear him. I was concentrating on the question because I don't know the answer. What 3 former Oklahoma State wide receivers were 1st-round picks in the NFL? Justin Blackmon almost certain to be the 4th. Swing pass, Josh Cooper. Took a pretty good pop. Keenan Robinson had him, and Carrington Bindum helped finish him off.
I think I know that one.
You know all 3?
Well,
I know
Des
2
Bryant
out of the 3. Des Bryant, that's the easy one.
Rashawn Woods.
That's the
Hartley Dykes.
Hartley Dykes was the other one I knew, being a New Englander. First-round pick
exactly.
of the Patriots. Didn't really pan out. Blackmon, barring injury, is going to be a high 1st-round pick. Here's Blackmon taking the toss. And he's out of bounds at the 35-yard line of Texas. As you mentioned at the top of the telecast, Matt, they find a lot of different ways to move him around and get him the ball. It's a 23-yard run.
And that's Todd Monken, their offensive coordinator. I think it's smart.
Here they come quickly again. Joseph Randall.
You know, we've talked about that now pace and that now tempo, and usually that happens after a big play. There's Todd Monken, their offensive coordinator. Usually when they get a big play, they go right back to it and they try to go for the jugular right away.
Mike Gundy's done a very good job replacing coaches on his staff. He lost Dana Holgerson, last year's offensive coordinator, head coach at West Virginia. Brought in Monken, and if anything, they're better. Tracy Moore dropped the ball. They did rule the play by Blackmon as a forward pass from Weeden. Mike Gundy, to me, is a guy, Matt, just hasn't gotten anywhere enough credit for the job that he's done.
I agree with you. I think he's done a phenomenal coaching job. And you mentioned it. He's got the right coaches for his staff, what he wants.
And they get good talent. and they coach the talent to the strengths of the talent, which is what coaching really should be all about. 5-man rush for Texas on 3rd down, and Weeden throws too high. Manny Diaz said, we don't have to sack Weeden, but we just need to be disruptive. And clearly they've been disruptive enough with the rush, as he came in completing 76% of his passes with just 8 out of 15 today.
Well, he knew that he had to get that ball up just a little bit because Christian Scott was sitting right in the middle. They're going to go for it here on 4th and 9.
From the 34-yard line. Be a 51-yard field goal for Sharp from there. 5-man rush again. Weeden throws a strike for a 1st down to Justin Blackmon at the 18-yard line.
And it wasn't going to happen if they didn't handle the 4 to the left side. They brought pressure from the left side. Weeden sees it. Right. Perfect strike.
17-yard gain. 4th catch for Blackmon. The drive continues. Weeden near sideline. Blackmon the catch. And he is swung down by Carrington Bindum.
I'm liking this Bindum kid. He is not backing off at all of Justin Blackmon. He's a young one. Just a sophomore, I believe it. He is. He's stepped up. He's playing really well.
Short gain there. 3 yards on the last play. Longhorns showing that they might be coming again. Long count by Weeden. They do come after. He throws quickly. Caught by Blackmon. Touchdown.
Simple route, Sean. And this is, again, this is Manny Diaz putting some confidence in his young sophomore, Bindum, right now. Now, Bindum gave a cushion, so he has got to be able to see the quarterback and the receiver. He's got to break on that. You're breaking on one of the best receivers in all of college football, if not the best.
Extra point up and good by Quinn Sharp. Justin Blackmon, the touchdown. His 7th receiving touchdown of the year. 15 yards, and the Cowboys are on top again. $87 degrees here in Austin, Texas. Not a cloud in the sky. Entertaining ball game. Oklahoma State leading Texas 14-7. Now the answer. What 3 former Oklahoma State wide receivers were 1st-round picks in the NFL? I can vouch for the fact that you did not cheat, even though you answered very quickly, and you got it right. Des Bryant in 2010, Rashawn Woods and Hartley Dykes. And Blackmon is certainly going to be another. Mel Kiper has him in the top 10 on his big board. 4 catches today for Blackmon, including the touchdown that's given them the lead again. Here's Fozzie Whitaker. Great effort on the return. 23 yards on the run back. Here's Robert Flores.
All right, Sean, AT&T All-America Player of the Week update. Texas A&M quarterback Ryan Tannehill exploding today at Kyle Field against Baylor. 415 yards, 6 touchdowns as the Aggies come back to win at home. You can text VOTE to 55862 for a chance at a trip to the national championship. Back to beautiful Austin, Texas.
It is indeed. That's a big win for A&M. That didn't set up as an elimination game for the loser, but it's certainly going to be tough now for Baylor in the Big 12. Jackson Shipley took the handoff from David Ash, turned the corner, but that was just about it. They'll mark him at the 34, gain of 2. Here's Samantha Steele.
Guys, I've been watching the interaction between Case McCoy and David Ash all game. Obviously a shock to Texas fans to see Ash getting all the snaps so far. There hasn't been much interaction. David Ash is not a demonstrative guy. He's your typical steady Eddie, no high highs and no low lows.
They had been alternating in recent weeks, but not today. They're going to try to establish Ash as the #1 quarterback. Mike Davis the catch. He got driven back after he got very close to the 1st down yardage. They'll mark it at the 41, 3rd down and 1, midway through the 2nd quarter.
And Sean, at one point, Texas has to do that because the quarterback position is unique in sports. And you have to have that leader. You have to have that guy that you can count on week in and week out. So, you know, the old adage, if you have two, you don't have one. Well, they need one.
They need a first down here. It's Whitaker.
Nice little wildcat action there by Whitaker, lined up in the backfield to the direct snap, and then just go right up and whenever you're in trouble, follow Cody Johnson. He'll get you out of most things. The big old fullback leading the way.
11-yard run coming into today. Whitaker had taken 8 direct snaps this season. They had gained 75 yards on those 8 plays, so that has worked with regularity for Texas. They're across midfield at the 48. Malcolm Brown running off the left side. 3-yard pickup to the 45. 2nd and 7 to come.
At the start of this game, Sean, one of the things that we said is that Texas had to be able to control the line of scrimmage, and I think they've done that. And they had to be able to get their running game going and keep that Oklahoma State offense on the sideline, and they've done that. Now it's exactly what Mac Brown wanted to see.
Ash out of the gun. Mike Davis in motion. 4 receivers. Ash decided to keep, and he got ripped down immediately by Jamie Blatnick. No gain on the play.
But Blatnick was in there quick, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, you can see him right here. The right defensive end. The whole key is what a good get off he had. And then he read it perfectly. Nice and patient right there, and then as soon as the quarterback pulled it down inside, he closed. Well done.
He's a fun guy to talk to, as we did a few weeks ago. Jamie Blatnick, for the game at A&M, said he considered A&M but didn't want to go there because he didn't like the colors. Doesn't like maroon. Ash looked away, then found Davis. First down. One of the criticisms I would have of Ash, having watched the previous tapes and today, sometimes he gets locked on to the play early. You wonder, was that designed to go left, or was that actually a good job of sending the defense in the wrong direction?
I think that was, I thought it was, could have been gone either way, Sean. And Jamie Blatnick actually did a good job of falling off in the coverage to the left side, and then he had the wherewithal, a good presence to find it back on the right side. It was like a double screen was set up.
Didn't have it to the left, so went to the right. Made a good decision and executed. Trying to run away from Nigel Nicholas. Here's part of the reason he's the quarterback. He can run. And he's down inside the 15. They'll spot it at the 12. 23-yard run. 1st and 10. Texas trying to tie up the ball game.
Just great awareness of knowing the coverage was run off. And so now just use your feet. It's one of the things that Mac Brown thought that he'd be able to get out of. I don't know if he stepped out there.
It looked like he might have been out a couple of yards prior to where they spotted it. Fozzie Whitaker taking a direct snap again. Fakes the handoff. Makes a good move, but he's still in trouble behind the line of scrimmage and taken down. Well defended by Joe Mitchell.
Really well done on the inside first, and then they bounced him to the outside, and then that's when Mitchell got on his horse and came from the inside out. But the whole thing started because inside they took away the initial surge.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12.
Wow.
Texas not been a great red zone team this year, and their struggles continue. Quick pop to Whitaker, but he's taken down immediately. Blatnick, who's had a big first half there again. Help from Anthony Rogers. Another loss on the play.
That was an odd formation. And Jamie Blatnick, so he lines up outside because he sees, see the linemen they have on the outside and the tight end. So Blatnick just takes him, just throws him out of the way and makes a big play. You're right, Sean.
2 kind of trick plays here in the red zone after driving mostly conventionally to this point. Ash on 3rd and 15. Throws it away. That's the benefit of a little more experience. We talk about red zone problems, Matt. Entering today, Texas 23 trips into the red zone, only 16 scores, and only 11 of them touchdowns. Those are very bad numbers in today's college football.
You know, Sean, sometimes, Brian Harson's a creative guy, but sometimes I think out-create yourself. Sometimes you just got to line up with what you do well. They've been running the football. There he is. Sometimes you get a little bit too fancy. You out-trick yourself.
Yeah,
just
first and second down were both kind of fancy.
Yeah.
To borrow your apt word. 34-yard field goal try now by Justin Tucker. And that one is good. Just inside the right upright. So another good long ball control drive by Ash and the Longhorns. They're back within 4.
Texas football is on Longhorn Network. Get inside access to practice, Mac Brown's game plan, and the latest lineup changes. Don't miss the Kansas-Texas game on October 29th, only on Longhorn Network. Keep calling your TV service provider.
We appreciate the hospitality here in Austin this week of our friends and colleagues from Longhorn Network. Dave Brown taking the gang out to dinner last night. A very nice set there at Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium.
Sean, you know what was really surprising to me was the amount of access that Mac Brown has given to the Longhorn Network. I mean, they are right there.
Including practice. Tuesday and Wednesday practices are televised live on Longhorn Network. Good kickoff by Tucker to the back of the end zone. Well, Texas within 4. It has to be frustrating for Brandon Weeden, Mike Gundy, the offense. Todd Monken for the Cowboys. They're so used to being the ones who kind of dictate the entire way the game is played. They have the lead right now, but in many ways the game's being dictated to them. Texas just held the ball for 5 minutes and 25 seconds on that field goal
Which
drive.
is exactly what Mac Brown, Manny Diaz wanted to do. And so credit the defense of Texas, and particularly that young secondary.
Texas has run 42 plays to 24 for Oklahoma State. Texas had the ball for more than 20 minutes. Oklahoma State 6.5 minutes of possession. But again, they don't need a lot of time. Hubert Anium with a 14-yard catch off the pass from Weeden. First down, 3 minutes to go in the half. All 3 timeouts left for the Cowboys. Texas brings a late blitz, and the pass is caught. And the ground caused the fumble, say the officials. Josh Cooper the catch. Another first down. I would think now the other officials coming in to wave it off. So after they confer, one official pointing to the ground saying that caused the fumble, but another said no.
Well, Kenny Vaccaro, number 4 right there. He's right on top of it.
And then they're going to let him play. But there might be a review there.
Now it is. The official on the side is stopping the clock.
Timeout. Oklahoma State. First charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
And that might be just to give the replay booth a little more time to consider if they want to look at it. I don't know why they wouldn't. And they took a long time to review, and that's what he's saying. It was a catch, and he was down by contact when the ball came out. And they took forever to look at that punt that clearly hit the Oklahoma State player. And then you're just going to let them play on this?
Yeah, sometimes you just don't get. There's the catch. Vaccaro's on top of him. It stays in until he hits the ground.
Well, we don't know that for sure, though. We can't tell if the ball's wobbling around.
There's the hit.
Looking
He
for
is
a
down.
definitive look. Yeah. I agree with you, though. It looked to me like he had the ball till he hit the ground.
Well, that's exactly why they called the timeout. You're 100% right, Sean.
And now they have challenged the play. He was hoping that with the extra time, they might look at it. And it's officially a challenge. And I think given the play where Bindum appeared to intercept the ball for Texas, and they overturned the call on the field when it was tough to tell. They ruled his elbow came down out of bounds, but we thought his foot.
Confirmed incomplete pass. Oklahoma State is charged a timeout.
One thing I'll say, they're getting their decisions in quick.
They got that one in quick. And again, I would quibble with the usage of confirmed because we saw the same replays they saw. There was nothing to confirm they got the call right because you couldn't tell if he had. So the call stands. But I wouldn't say we saw any confirmation of it. 2nd and 10. 2 timeouts left for the Cowboys now, each team with 2. And plenty of time left for Brandon Weeden in this quick strike attack. Handoff to Jeremy Smith running left. Keenan Robinson took him down at the 38-yard line, a gain of 5. 3rd and 5 to come. They're 5th in the nation coming in on 3rd down. The Cowboys at 56%, but they're 0 for 4 today. A rare long count by Weeden. Just a 4-man rush. He throws, caught. Gilbert 49-yard line. 1st down, Oklahoma State.
Sean, that ball was thrown before Anium ever made his break. Watch Anium on the top. The ball is in the air right now. Boom, it's right on top of him. That is really well done and really hard to defend.
One of the benefits of having an experienced 28-year-old quarterback instead of an 18-year-old freshman making his first start. Smith out of the backfield, 11-yard play, 1st down. Now they'll move quickly, but they have plenty of time. At the Texas 39, nearly 2 minutes to go, and 2 timeouts. Smith stays in the ball game. 4 receivers, 3 to the left of Weeden. Again, they bring extra men on the rush and don't get there. Josh Stewart fighting for every inch down to the 31-yard line. 8-yard gain.
You know, they are so prolific in this passing game, and we've talked about Weeden, but until you really watch him, I don't know if you really appreciate him because he sees everything, and the ball comes out fast. And there's a timeout here by Texas.
What is easier to appreciate him when you watch him?
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of tough not to if you don't really look at him. But let's take a good look at him because he sees the field and he can make all the throws. He does trust his arm. If there's one thing sometimes, and all the great ones do this, Sean, all the great ones will take chances because they believe in their ability to throw in that small window. And he's no exception. I mean, he'll do that. But he's right more often than not.
Turned 28 years old yesterday. Spent 5 years playing minor league baseball, a pitcher in several different organizations. Of course, his teammates have had a lot of fun with the birthday thing, talking about getting him a walker or a cane. And he takes it in the good humor in which it is intended. Manny Diaz in that defense trying to contend with a quarterback who's 2 months older than Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers, and he's older than 15 starting quarterbacks in the National Football League. He's 4 for 5 on this drive. One incompletion, that controversial pass to Cooper. Off his back foot, throws behind the receiver. Well, we have seen today the benefit. It's hard to sack him. He gets rid of the ball so quickly.
He does. But he gets rid of it real fast. If
you can at least disrupt him, that can be effective. Manny Diaz said, how do you deal with Blackmon? Well, you disrupt the guy trying to throw it to him.
Yeah, and so what you're trying to do is get him off his mark. And they've been able to do that. And here's a big down, 3rd and short right here.
3rd down and 2. We're on the fringe of field goal range here. A handoff to Jeremy Smith, a short yardage specialist. This will be close. We're going to avoid the old cliche, it depends on the spot, because, Matt, it always depends on the spot.
I think it might depend on the foot. If he gives it to the right foot, he's got it. If he gives it to the left foot,
he didn't get it.
He didn't get it.
Well, they were just about in this field position earlier and decided to go for it. They're going to go for it here. 4th down, less than a yard, 30-yard line. Final minute of the first half. They try Smith again, right through the defense and into the end zone. Touchdown, Cowboys.
That That was just a nice job up front by the offensive line, Sean. Looked like Nick Martinez, their left guard, really had the key block.
10 straight games now with a rushing touchdown for the sophomore from Tulsa, Jeremy Smith. The extra point up and good by Quinn Sharp. And what a turn of events. And you'd have to think a blow to that young Texas team, Matt, in terms of they had the game going for a lot of the half the way they wanted it to go. Executing the plan, keep the offense on the field. They've done a pretty good job against this prolific Oklahoma State offense, but they're looking at an 11-point deficit heading into the half unless something happens in the final 38 seconds.
Once you watch the center, 74, that's Garner. And then Martinez, 75. Oh, that's just perfection right there. You just go right through it. And there's nobody to the second level because they committed it up to the line of scrimmage. And once he got past the backers, courtesy of those blocks, 6 points.
Martinez, the left guard, a relatively new starter. They lost Jonathan Rush, an outstanding left guard, to injury in the A&M game a couple of weeks ago. Randy Diaz had everybody up there around the line. Once Smith got through that line, there's nobody home.
You know, up until that point, Sean, it felt like Texas was winning. You know what I mean? They were kind of controlling everything. They were still down by 4, but they had that feel.
Well, they're doing a lot of things they wanted to do, felt they had to do to win the game. Whitaker brought it out again from deep in the end zone. And a good return. Across the 35, they're going to mark him out across the 36. Chased out by Larry Stevens. With a win last week in Kansas, Jimmy Johnson's moved back into 3rd place behind the points leader Carl Edwards. Kevin Harvick's trailing by just a point in 2nd place. JJ only 4 points back. Things tightening up in the chase. Can Edwards hold off the competition? The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues tonight. 7 Eastern on ABC. The Bank of America 500 at Charlotte. It really doesn't get much closer than that. You really can't bet against Jimmy Johnson,
no,
given his track record. So how aggressive will they be with a young quarterback? True freshman Ash making his first start. Forced to throw it away with the pressure coming. I think he's learning that lesson, Matt. Throwing it away is better than the really bad turnover that he committed a couple of times last week and early in this game today.
You know, with young players, especially like a young quarterback, every rep goes in the bank, and it's just something else to build off of.
Four receivers. Just one timeout left for Texas. 27 seconds to go. Cowboys rush only 3. Oh, Ash slipped down. Was he down? No. Knee or elbow didn't hit. The Cowboy coaches thought it did. They're screaming at Mike DeFee, the referee. They also might be asking about a grounding call. Did his knee go down?
Didn't look like it.
No, he did a good job of staying up. Blew a tire. Something Jimmy Johnson hopes doesn't happen. Mike Gundy and his staff are upset.
The question is does the ball make him down? The answer to that question is no, it does not.
So here's 3rd down and 10. They just did get the play off. Conservative call there. Fozzie Whitaker gets 3. Oklahoma State.
He's going to try.
Yeah, they don't need much time to score. They're going to use the timeout with 10 seconds to go in the half. Perhaps to come after the punt. What if every storybook character you ever knew or ever thought you knew was real? Well, the writers of Lost, it's a series unlike anything ever seen on television in the ultimate battle between good and evil. ABC's Once Upon a Time, premiering next Sunday. That's October 23rd at 8/7 Central on ABC. Series set in a New England town called Storybrooke, Maine. Looking forward to watching that. I'm all for good against evil. Go good. Yay, good.
Speaking of good, Brandon Weeden has been that today.
Really good.
Really good. That, however, with Rashedi Jones going off early, is not good.
Well, 10 men up on the line. Justin Tucker to punt. And he will punt it. And the rugby punt lands near the 20 and goes out of bounds right there. So a 40-yard punt, no return. 8 seconds to go. How frisky will the Cowboys be?
Well, given the way Brandon Weeden's played in this first half, I think they could be pretty frisky with 8 seconds because he's been spot on. The ball has been where it had to be. He's had ample time, and when he's had a lot of time, he's carved them up. But he's found them often. 15 out of 24 for $172.
And for a lot of the day, it seemed like Texas was doing a good job against him. He had 172 yards at the half. They take a knee, and they'll take an 11-point lead into the locker room. Here's Samantha Steele.
Coach, a lot of pressure on your freshman QB. How do you assess David Ash's performance?
Oh, I thought David played well. We had the one turnover, which we can't have. We've got to get scores in the red zone. We can't be kicking field goals because they're very good offensively. Disappointed that we gave up the drive right before the half, just like OU. So we got to come out, hold them a second half, get the ball back. And I think offensively, we've been on the field for more than 20 minutes. We're doing the things we need to do. We've got to score in the red zone.
All right, appreciate your time, Coach. Sean?
It's always amazing to me how Mac knows all the stats. He's got everything in his head, even while he's coaching the game. 21-10 at the half. Stay tuned. Complete halftime report right after these messages. And we welcome you back to Austin, Texas. One of 4 games on this college football Saturday, matching 2 ranked teams. Number 6, Oklahoma State, with an 11-point lead over number 22, Texas. Welcome back to Austin. Sean McDonough along with Matt Millen. Mac Brown made the point when we visited with him yesterday. He said, even though it was ugly last week against Oklahoma, we're better than we were a year ago. This isn't heading back to another 5-7. And after that first half, even though they're down by 11, they are better. They're just playing a terrific team today.
Yeah, and where they've gotten better is really in their secondary. It's a young secondary. I really like what Manny Diaz is doing in terms of trusting his young secondary. But this series right here, Sean, this might be the most important series of the whole game for Texas. If they can stop them here and gain a little bit more momentum back, that'll be huge. Because if Oklahoma State takes it right down and punches a score, and that could be ugly.
Brandon Weeden and the Cowboy offense will get the ball first. Oklahoma State looking for its 8th straight road win. Another hallmark of an excellent team. And Virginia Tech with 10, Oregon with 8 road wins in a row of longer road winning streaks. Justin Gilbert brings back the kickoff from Justin Tucker. Justin Gilbert across midfield. He is going to score, and there are no flags on the field.
Forget what I said about the first possession. It doesn't count. Justin Gilbert took care of that all by himself.
His 2nd touchdown on a kickoff return this season. He took one back 96 against Tulsa. This one was from the middle of the end zone. Officially be a 100-yard return. His 4th career kickoff return for a touchdown, tying Parrish Cox for the Oklahoma State school record. And the kick up and good. Well, Mac Brown talked in the interview with Samantha Steele about that touchdown right at the end of the half was big for Oklahoma State. This is even bigger to send the early message right out of the locker room.
That's a monster right there. Gilbert just took it and he just shoved it right in their throat. And a lot of this here, Sean, this is just on Gilbert because that's just vision. And he sees the lane, and then that's some pretty strong running. He run through a couple arm tackles and then good speed to finish it off.
It matches the longest kickoff return in school history. There were 3 100-yard kickoff returns previously. You mentioned it also ties the school record for career kickoff returns. But the longest kickoff return in school history was 100 yards. Done 3 times by Barry Sanders, by Barry Sanders, and by Barry Sanders.
You know, I'm sensing something here.
He was good.
He wasn't too bad.
Against Miami of Ohio in '88, Kansas and Tulsa in 1987. And now by Justin Gilbert, sophomore from Huntsville, Texas, in 2011. 28-10 in the blink of an eye. Quinn Sharp kicks off. And Whitaker will try to answer for Texas. And here he comes. Fozzie Whitaker. The kicker has the angle. Quinn Sharp, can he do it? No! Unbelievable!
It's not often that you see it, Sean, but here's tit for tat because Fozzie Whitaker, he had his just that little spot to jump through, and he burst through it. And then once he got on that sideline, you were right, boy. Did a great job about running an angle. That is really hard to do.
Help perhaps that it was the kicker. Each return took 12 seconds. He started about 3 yards deep, but officially it's 100 for the second week in a row. Fozzie Whitaker goes 100. He did it last week against the Sooners. He does it today against the Cowboys. It's the 16th kickoff return for a touchdown in Texas history. They hadn't had a 100-yarder since Johnny Lamb Jones, and now Whitaker's done it twice in 2 weeks. You want to go back, maybe the first series, if we ever have one that starts with a play from scrimmage, will be important in this game. Here's a look back to last week, one of the very few bright spots for Texas in that drubbing at the hands of Oklahoma. In the second quarter, it cut Oklahoma's lead to 27-10. The Sooners got a late touchdown in the first half, 34-10 at the break, and were never seriously threatened. Johnny Jones's kickoff return we mentioned was in 1978 against SMU. And Whitaker did it, and it didn't take long for him to do it again. All right, you're up, Gilbert.
How about it?
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I've seen it on television. I've never seen it live. That's a first.
I cannot recall having seen it in person. We'll get the researchers working on it. If it happens, it doesn't happen very often. You got to try it, don't you? Oh, come on. Maybe he's still winded. You have to try it. Now our Pacific Life game summary. Brandon Weeden started slowly. It got his numbers as he always does. 172 and a touchdown. Justin Blackmon scored the touchdown on a 15-yard completion, one of his 6 catches.
And so we're right back to where we said at the start, where this is an important series right here for this Texas defense. We got to it a little different, but we're right there.
Texas had a better than 2-to-1 time of possession advantage in the first half. Blackmon took the swing and went for 3 yards. But time doesn't matter that much when you move quickly. Oklahoma State outgained Texas 234-196 in the first half, despite having the ball for 9.5 minutes. Quick pop again to Josh Cooper. 3 more. 26-yard line. 3rd and 4 upcoming.
Because here's your big 3rd down. Now Manny Diaz, you've got to get them stopped here in this Texas defense. And let's see how they do it.
They had more 4th down conversions, did the Cowboys, in the first half than 3rd down conversions. They were 2 for 2 on 4th down, 1 for 6 on 3rd. 3rd and 4. Low snap handled by Weeden, but they get in his face again, and it's incomplete. The pressure paid off. An errant throw intended for Justin Blackmon. And another 3-and-out forced by the defense of Manny Diaz.
And so you roll the bones a little bit, and you come with some pressure. And Weeden went to the wrong side. He had a stack on the other side. It was wide open to Gilbert Anium rather, and he chose to go to the right side in
You're
an
a
errant
good friend.
throw.
You can call him Hubie.
Yeah.
His pals might call him Hubie.
That's a big series right there, Sean, for that Texas defense.
As you said it would be. And then you said it wouldn't be. And then you said it would be again. And of course the situations dictated that all of that was true. Quinn Sharp punts out of bounds. 32-yard line. 42-yard punt. No return. Texas on offense after this. Back in Austin, Texas. Hard to believe they've played only 59 seconds in this 3rd quarter. Each team with a kickoff return for a touchdown here in the 3rd. And then Oklahoma State a 3-and-out. Now Texas ball down by 11. David Ash started. He's gone all the way at quarterback for Texas in his first career start. He's in trouble and sacked. Back at the 27. Here's Samantha Steele.
Guys, I caught up with Mike Gundy. He was cool, calm, and collected. His biggest frustration, though, was that they just couldn't get into a rhythm. He said we started out very sluggish on offense. On defense, he had one major concern. He said we have to be able to defend against that inside run. That really is a testament to this O-line for Texas today, guys.
Second sack of the day for Gundy's defense brings up a 2nd and 15. Now to the run with Malcolm Brown. He's had some success up the middle. He got the sack yardage back and another yard. 3rd and 9 upcoming. 6-yard gain for Brown. He's up to 78 yards rushing.
You know, Sean, when they have been over 7 yards on 3rd down, they've not done a good job of converting. They were 4 for 10 on 3rd downs, and the ones that they converted were all 7 yards or less. Anything over that, they have not.
Ash out of the gun. Throws to his right. Caught but short of the first down. Marquise Goodwin, NCAA long jump champion, with a 6-yard reception. They're going to punt. He wasn't even with the team in the spring, in the summer, and wasn't on their team at the beginning of the year. He's going to redshirt to prepare for the Olympics next year in London. Long jumper, as you mentioned, the national champ in college. But he decided he missed football. Texted Mac Brown after the Rice game, said, I want to come back and play. So he's still learning this new offense. Fair catch made by Justin Blackmon. A good punt by Tucker. Justin's boot goes 48 yards. So 2 kickoff returns for a touchdown in this half, one by each team to begin the half. And matching 3-and-outs. And here comes Weeden again.
Doesn't do your defense any good if you stop them with a 3-and-out and you get nothing to answer with it. Right back in the same situation.
Delay, inside handoff, Joseph Randall. Good tackle in space by Christian Scott, and he got hurt. Right arm dangling for a moment. Looks like he's going to stay in. Already got, looks like a cast on that right wrist. Shotgun snap to Weeden. Throws far side, dropped. That's a rarity by Josh Cooper.
He has the coverage that he wants. You're running off the, all it is, you're going to run the outside receiver off and then just fill the vacancy. The ball is a little bit behind him, but Cooper's good enough to make that play.
Well, the best 3rd down team in the Big 12, 5th best in the nation, coming in just 1 out of 7 today. Already 0 for 1 in this half. Weeden again out of the gun. 3 receivers to his left. He looked immediately right. Fired a strike, incomplete. Looking for Blackmon. Surrounded by 3 Texas defenders. And another 3-and-out.
Phillips was right there. I like the Bynum kid. He's done a good job. Acho was down there. That's some good defense. That's 2 in a row, Sean. That's 2 very good defensive stands.
Here's Quinn Sharp to punt. After the 4th 3 and out. They come after the punt and didn't get it. Jackson Shipley makes the fair catch at the 40-yard line. 35-yard boot under pressure from Quinn Sharp.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Chrysler. Imported from Detroit. Verizon 4G LTE. America's fastest, most reliable 4G network. And the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Look at the South Austin Popular Culture Center. Art exhibits, musical artifacts, cultural images that shape the city's self-conception of the past 50 years. This is such a great city, and whatever you're interested in, there's a good chance you can find it here in the capital of Texas. Ash hands it off. DJ Monroe turns the corner, gets a block, and he's out of bounds in Oklahoma State territory. 39-yard line, 21-yard gain.
Well, what they've been doing all game long is they've been trying to hit the edge and get them spread, and then they come back with that inside running game. So let's take a look, see if they don't come that basic same formation and start pounding back inside. They've had success inside the guards in the center.
Malcolm Brown, the tailback. Straight back, David Ash throwing deep, single coverage, and there's a flag thrown. Marquise Goodwin, the intended receiver. Andre May had the coverage, and this will be the first penalty of the game against either team. Unless they pick it up. They did pick up a flag in the first half. The officials have let them play in large part because the teams have played well and cleanly.
Defense, number 16, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
I think Mike Gundy thinks Marquise Goodwin sold this one a little bit, and I would be inclined to agree with Coach Gundy.
Well, which is good play by Goodwin. Now he does.
Yeah, that's nothing.
He does. It isn't, but he does have to have the right to be able to get to that ball. But give him a nice little Emmy. That was pretty nice.
He went to the spin like a top move when he realized he wasn't going to have a chance to make the catch. A break for Texas. And Mac Brown said yesterday they're going to need some help. Turnovers, calls that go their way, mistakes by Oklahoma State. There's Malcolm Brown. Did he stay in bounds? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Texas. Brian Harsin came from Boise State. And this action has to look a little bit familiar to the folks in Oklahoma.
There's no question. That's what won the game for him. Ooh, I don't know about that, Sean. He may have stepped out. They're going to have to look at that.
Man, they will. You go back to that memorable Fiesta Bowl win, Boise State over Oklahoma.
I don't believe I saw any green in between this.
Yeah, I think there is green in between.
Looks like it might be.
Yeah, I think there is green in between there.
Yes. Nicely done by Malcolm Brown.
So, now, see from there, it looks like he's out of bounds, but I would suggest that isn't as good a look at it as the other one we saw. If it stands, 24-yard run, and it gets Brown over 100. This obviously is a much closer view, and there's definitely green from that angle between his shoe and the sideline. I would say it'll stand.
I would have to agree with you.
They brought Brian Harsin in here, part to bring a little more creativity to the attack.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Well, that looked to be the right call. You think about Brian Harsin, 34 years old. Born in Boise, raised in Boise, played at Boise State. And except for 8 months when he coached at Eastern Oregon, he had otherwise been in Boise, Idaho. So even though this was a great opportunity for him, it was a tough decision for Brian and his family. But the Harsons are really enjoying it here in Austin.
You enjoy it more when calls like that work.
Justin Tucker, the extra point. The true freshman, Malcolm Brown, now with his second 100-yard game. Went for 110 against UCLA. Has 102 today against Oklahoma State. It's a 4-point game. Malcolm Brown, his second touchdown of the day to make it a 4-point game. It's been a wild first 4 minutes and 17 seconds of the third quarter, including back-to-back kickoff returns. One return for a touchdown by each team. Justin Gilbert for Oklahoma State. Fozzie Whitaker for Texas. You have to go back to 2005 Ohio U and Ball State, the last time that happened, in an FBS game. Here's Gilbert again. Excuse me, Hubert Anium, 84, not number 4. 27-yard return. Let's go back to the Texas touchdown that made it a 1-score game.
And there are two elements right here. The first is a great job of the quarterback eyeballing the pressure. It's coming right at him. He keeps his eyes up right there. And that fake right there holds Sean Lewis, number 11. And then Ash does his best Jared Zabransky and hands it off, and he gets the score.
Then make Malcolm Brown. Who was that, Ian Johnson?
Yes.
Here's Joseph Randall. Very near first down. They haven't had a first down yet from scrimmage in the second half. They've had 2 3-and-outs and 13 yards of offense. That's 9 yards. 2nd and 1.
One thing that this Texas defense has done extremely well is they've not got messed up with their defensive calls and personnel groups. They've been on top of everything.
Joseph Randall carries. They did get the first down. One thing that's helped them, they haven't been on the field anywhere near as much. We saw that great Oklahoma State comeback at Texas A&M earlier this season, down 20-3, rally to win, in part because the pace and the amount of time that the offense was on the field for Oklahoma State just wore out Texas A&M. This Texas defense should be fresh. They haven't been out there much. Weeden throws deep and incomplete. Bindum again with good coverage. The sophomore Carrington Bindum running step for step with Justin Blackmon.
I tell you, Bindum gave up the 1 touchdown, but he has fought him all game long. That's a pretty good job. Right where he has
been able to bind him to the hip of Blackmon.
Yes, he has. Walked up down below. It's another matchup with no help.
0 for his last 4 for Weeden. 2nd and 10. The rush well picked up that time. Here's Kai Staley, the fullback. Back to the line of scrimmage. Wrestled down by Emmanuel Acho and Kenny Vaccaro.
Go back to what Samantha Steele said, that when she interviewed Gundy, said they had not been able to get into a rhythm. And they have still not been able to achieve that rhythm.
In large part because the time of possession, the edge is still 2-1 in favor of Texas. 3rd down and 10. Weeden throws, caught. First down. Texas 41-yard line. Hubert Anium with Quandre Diggs, the true freshman, in coverage, 16 yards.
Well, they bring numbers to the right side. It's well picked up. And then Weeden just right down the middle where it has to be.
Big completion by Weeden. Oklahoma State a 4-point lead. Middle of the third quarter. Weeden going deep, and it is incomplete. Another one that Tracy Moore had a chance to catch. He had a bad drop earlier. Vaccaro's upset he didn't play that one. Matt, it looked to me like Weeden underthrew the ball a little bit.
Yeah, that was the whole key, because that allowed Vaccaro to fight it all the way through, but Moore had a chance to make the catch. Not a great throw by Weeden.
2nd and 10. They're starting to get into that up tempo again. There's a nice catch. Josh Cooper beyond the first down marker, inside the 30. First down.
That was an outstanding catch. Watch how he comes back with his hands to catch his thing. Twists his body. Little kinesthetic sense there.
11-yard gain for Cooper. Cooper had 11 receptions in that come from behind win at A&M. Weeden's pass batted down by Jackson Jeffcoat.
Jackson Jeffcoat, the son of Jim Jeffcoat, the old Dallas Cowboy. Just a sophomore, played a lot a year ago. Had a couple of sacks. But you know, he needs to develop more. He's not where he wants to be. And they don't really have a pass rusher. Jeffcoat would be the guy.
Weeden on 2nd and 10. Time there, throws, flag down, and Moore can't hang on again. Wow. Tracy Moore has had a hard time today. The junior from Tulsa came in with 16 catches for the year. Has just one today.
Remember Todd Monken telling us the other day that he thought he had not 1 or 2 good receivers, but 8 good receivers.
Holding. Defense, number 28. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
First penalty against Texas against Quandre Diggs. And it's a costly one. First down inside the 20.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good call.
And right in front of the official and the Oklahoma State sideline.
Got to get your hands, you got to get a jam. It's quick, boom, in like a punch and then back off.
Twin receivers left and right. Weeden goes left to Cooper. Out of bounds, short gain. Christian Scott there to help him out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Unlike Texas, Oklahoma State's been a very good red zone team this season. A lot of weapons, a lot of options available to Todd Monken. They surround Weeden with backs. He throws quickly to Ranium. Digs the tackle. Where are they going to mark it? Looks like a first down. Right on that yellow line at the 9-yard line.
Gilbert, I think, is an underrated player. I think he's got good speed. He's a clutch guy. He's a big kid.
Getting better as the year goes along, too.
When you call on him, he responds. Here's that 30 personnel group. 3 backs, no tight ends.
Weeden fakes the handoff. Gets pressured from behind, and he got rid of it. Acho was there.
That should be fine.
Devontae Johnson also there.
He's outside the tackle box.
The quarterback was out of the pocket. The ball reached the line of scrimmage. It's an incomplete pass.
That's right. At or beyond the line of scrimmage and outside the tackle box. And we keep in mind that the tackle box is 5 yards from the ball. Generally, tight end position to tight end position. He was outside of that. The reason he couldn't get anything because there was good coverage down the field.
Including perhaps a hold.
Maybe. But he started running. Once he starts moving, you can whack him again.
The only other question was Weeden's knee down? And clearly after the replay it was not. So now 2nd and goal just inside the 10. Longhorns come up as if to blitz. And the timeout. At least the stoppage in play. The flag thrown now in the end zone. May not have reset the play clock.
There's no foul on the play for delay of game. The play clock did not start. Please reset it to 25 seconds and we'll on my signal.
Pretty good job by this officiating crew. They've been in control the whole time, Sean.
And who's going to argue with Mike DeFees? Another one of these refs in the Ed Hockley mold who has clearly done plenty of curls in the gym.
Needs to work on his triceps. I'll tell him that after the game.
Exactly midway through the 3rd quarter. Many thought Oklahoma State might run Texas out of its own stadium as it did last year. Not so today. Handoff up the middle. Joseph Randall inside the 5. And another big play in this game, Matt, because the touchdown sends it back to a 2-score game. If they can hold them to a field goal, it's a 1-score game.
And I wonder if what Oklahoma State would do if they don't get the first down here, would they try for the field goal? I mean, for the touchdown.
13th play of the drive. 3rd and goal. They throw the fade, incomplete. Well covered. Anium, the intended receiver. Diggs, who took a lot of heat after the struggles of the secondary last week.
Well, he played
had
that
good coverage
extremely well. Right from the line of scrimmage. Got his hands, got a good jam, and then got good position.
There's Quinn Sharp. Attempting a 22-yard field goal. And it is good. Manny Diaz says good job defense. Mac Brown says you have to make them kick field goals on occasion. They did. 7-point game. Here's Robert Flores.
Hey, Sean, Ohio State quarterback Braxton Miller has completed 1 pass against Illinois today. And this is it. Touchdown pass to Jake Stoneberger. Ohio State opens up a 17-0 lead over the Illini, but Illinois is driving right now. 6:26 and running. LSU, number 1 in the country, 24-7 on the road against Tennessee.
Thank you, Robert. Matt, I don't think you and I are surprised by that Ohio State score. Many wondered how good Illinois is. The schedule will get tougher now. And Ohio State easily could have, perhaps should have won that game. We saw in person at Nebraska last week. They had the big lead. Miller got hurt. That helped change the game dramatically.
And then I see Boom Herron's back this week. And so I saw he ran in a score. So, yeah, I think that Ohio State team is better than people think they are. And Braxton Miller is getting better and better.
Oklahoma State had the ball for 3 minutes and 50 seconds. That's an eternity for them. Their longest drive of the day by 1 minute and 19 seconds. Their previous long had been 2 minutes 31 seconds. Sharp's kickoff down to Fozzie Whitaker. Now every time he fields a kickoff return, you can sense the anticipation as he's returned 1 for a touchdown each of the last 2 weeks. Kyle Hale took him down there. College football prime time tonight. An appealing lineup. ESPN at 7 o'clock. Florida's at Auburn. Clemson trying to stay undefeated. They're on the U at 7 against Maryland. Oklahoma versus Kansas. You wonder how many points Oklahoma will score against the worst defense in the country. And the marquee matchup at 10:15 Eastern on ESPN. Number 18 Arizona State. Number 9 Oregon. Been hard for Arizona State to come up with big wins in recent years. Here's another chance for them tonight in Eugene. Malcolm Brown up the far sideline. Quality gain on first down. They're going to mark him out just shy of the first down marker. 9-yard run for Brown, enjoying his best day as a college football player.
And he'll continue to have better and better games each week because, like I mentioned earlier, every rep, and you just file that thing and you're learning all the time. But a running back is a lot like wrestling, Sean. It's about keeping your levels low. And he's got to get his levels down a little bit. His pads are a little bit too high at times.
By formation, Brown again has the first down to the 40-yard line.
What's so good about this right here, and they need to continue to do, is let their defense catch their breath and also keep that Oklahoma State offense on the other side. Control it with your control the line of scrimmage with your offensive line. They've done that today, which is a complete departure from a week ago. And then they need to punctuate the whole thing with 6, not 3.
Dash the fake, steps up. And that's an option that he gives them that Case McCoy does not. One of the reasons why they've decided to give Ash the chance to firmly grasp the number 1 quarterback spot. He got 3 yards there.
You know, Sean, just watching them, I understand why Mac Brown went with Ash. The legs are a big part of it, but the kid's got a big, strong arm, too, and he's a big physical kid.
Good leadership skills as well, according to the coaches.
You can see he's gotten better as this game has gone on.
Plenty of time there. His pass is batted down. Jamie Blatnick, who's had another outstanding game. Last week against Kansas, Blatnick had an interception, a sack, a fumble recovery, 4 tackles, and a quarterback hurry, and he only played half the game.
Not too shabby, and he's not been too shabby here today also.
I really admire that about Mike Gundy. You know, some coaches would have a dilemma about, you have Weeden and Blackmon, even though they're way ahead as they were 49-7 against Kansas. Sometimes you leave your stars in to build their stats. He said, no, we have a lot of guys on this football team who don't get much of a chance to play and deserve it. They're going to play when the score dictates. Davis juggled the ball a little bit as he got rattled by Caleb Levy. Held on to it, but no gain on the play. It'll be 4th down. And the Oklahoma State defense holds, and Davis limps off.
And that was Bill Young with a nice little, he rolled the bones there too and came with a blitz, Sean. And he brought the pressure, and then a nice job by the corner to follow Davis back in, and Levy, of course, finished it off.
Justin Blackmon back to receive the punt. Another rugby punt by Tucker. Fair catch signaled for and made by Blackmon at the 13-yard line. Mack Brown says Bill Young always has a blitz you haven't seen before. Let's take a look at the Big 12 Conference update brought to you by Dr. Pepper 10. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, and Kansas State all undefeated in conference play and overall. They are 3 of the 13 remaining undefeated teams in conference play. A lot of people looking forward early December, that Bedlam Series game.
Oh yeah,
in Stillwater, which might have the Big 12 championship on the line and perhaps the opportunity to go on and play for a national championship. But a lot of quality opponents for both the Sooners and the Cowboys between now and then. Jeremy Smith on first down to the 26. 12-yard run, first down. Four and a half to go, third quarter.
Texas only going with 3 down linemen now.
Jeremy Smith bursts through again. Will they catch him? No, they will not. Jeremy Smith, a touchdown, 74 yards.
You know, Sean, the last touchdown run he had, we talked about Nick Martinez and Garner, the center. We're going to talk about the same 2 guys again. They had that 3 down lineman look. They just split it right down the middle. Nobody in the second level.
You wonder where they were. Smith hit a quick hitter for a home run, a 30-yard touchdown run late in the first half. And he's quieted this crowd with another touchdown. 74-yard run, 5 carries for 122 yards today for Jeremy Smith and the 2 touchdowns.
That's Garner, and then right down here, there's Nick Martinez. And you can see they're just giving that 32 look. Martinez seals it. Garner takes care right there. And then here we go again. Here comes Moses going through the Red Sea. There's no one in the middle of the field. They took a chance on it. It didn't work.
The longest run of Smith's career, his previous long was 69 yards last season. Previous long run this year was 38. Longest play from scrimmage this year for Oklahoma State, and they have a lot of long plays.
And you know, Sean, remember we talked to Manny Diaz. He said they were going to have to go light in the box with numbers, and they did right there. And they went with the 3 down, the 2 backers standing there, and the numbers caught them.
Well, you don't have that many people around the line. The question would be, where are the people in the secondary?
Well, and
who might stop that?
That's 10 personnel. That's 1 back, no tight ends, 4 wide receivers. You spread the field. You take a chance on the inside with Manny Diaz, and this time they got him.
2 plays, 86 yards. It took 29 seconds. They decided not to kick it deep this time to Fozzie Whitaker. Ryan Robertson came up with it for Texas. Tomorrow night on ESPN, we invite you to join Reese Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, and Craig James for BCS Countdown as they unveil the much-anticipated first BCS Bowl of the season. They'll analyze the contenders and pretenders. BCS Countdown presented by Discover tomorrow night at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN, continuing on ESPNU at 9. Oklahoma State goes on to win this one. It'll be interesting to see where they rank. Here's Malcolm Brown. Shot down after a 9-yard run by Justin Gilbert. Well, our expert Brad Edwards worked up some mock standings as he took into account the factors that make up the BCS poll and did some guesswork as well. And he believes if it came out this week, it would have been Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma, and then Oklahoma State.
Which means that Oklahoma State would control their own destiny. Which is tough on Wisconsin and Boise, because I don't think anybody's going to beat either one of those teams.
I saw Brad on game day this morning. He made the point the computers love the Big 12 because they have a great out-of-conference record. Deep pass, single coverage, caught out of bounds by Jackson Shipley. Incomplete pass. Shipley's had 15 catches the previous 2 games. Does not have a catch today.
That's good coverage right there by Justin Gilbert. And that's a nice effort by Shipley. What Shipley lacks is he can't blow the top off the coverage with his speed. He's not going to run past very many people. But he's a chain mover, a lot like his brother. Some think better.
Jordan Shipley, the all-time leading receiver at Texas, older brother of Jackson. Fozzie Whitaker took the direct snap. And he's still on his feet. First down. Tackled by Markel Martin while Justin Gilbert tried to rip the ball away. An 11-yard gain. Those mock BCS standings were brought to you by Discover.
Fozzie Whitaker is a player that you're going to watch playing on Sundays in a lot of different roles. As a third down back, as a kick returner, as a guy catching the ball out of the backfield. He's fun to watch.
He's a senior. He's had a lot of injuries over the years. Mack Brown thought he had his best all-around game as a Longhorn last week. Ash steps up. They have him. It is a 2-yard gain as he fell forward to the 42-yard line.
He'll learn, Sean, to be more decisive right there in that pocket. You weren't going to win down the field. Pull it down and use your feet. He's got good speed. He could have turned that into something more. Instead, by his hesitation, it just turns into a 1- or 2-yard gain instead of something bigger.
Mack Brown said if Texas is going to win, they need 200 yards rushing. They have 210 today. Came in averaging 172. 2nd and 9. Mike Davis tripped up short of the first down. Good tackle by Sean Lewis to prevent the first down. He'll mark it at the 36-yard line. Gain of 7. 3rd and a short 2.
So you're down by 14. Your team is moving. It was a heavy underdog, and these fans are just sitting there like, get into this game.
This is always, in my opinion, a remarkably quiet crowd.
Nothing. I'll tell you, as a player, you feed off of your crowd. That is
no juice here today.
Nothing here today.
Playing the number 6 team in the country. Ash kept it and did not get the first down. Alex Elkins made the tackle at the 35. They have to go for it, you would think.
I would think so, and I would like to see Cody Johnson in the football game start being, and here he comes. You follow Cody Johnson, he's going to take you to a first down.
He was a tailback last year, part of a rotation, wound up being their leading rusher. The arrival of Brown, they've moved the 252-pounder to fullback. They're 0 for 1 on 4th down today. 5 out of 10 for the year. Ash, the keeper. Looks like he got it. The official on the near side, the line judge.
That's going to be close.
Yeah, it looked like he was giving them a better spot than the head linesman. It is the first down.
I like Mike DeFee as an official. He's decisive, gets right to the call, keeps the thing going. He's in control. The whole key to officials is don't lose control of the game. DeFee's not done that at all.
And if you don't like it, he'll snap your arm in an arm wrestling match. Final minute of the 3rd quarter. Ash deep down the sideline over the head of Whitaker.
He had him too. He had him. Whitaker was running that sail route just down the right, the wheel route rather, down the right sideline. He needed to see it sooner and drop it in because he could have been in front of the safety and on top of his coverage.
Ash has thrown for just 83 yards, but one of his primary tasks today, avoid the big mistake. He threw the early interception, but has been much more careful since. High formation on 2nd and 10, and the delay to Malcolm Brown. Inside the 30 to the 29. Anthony Rogers wrapped him up. That will likely be the last play of the 3rd quarter. And what a wild quarter it was. Oklahoma State led 21-10 at the half, and they outscored Texas 17-14 in the 3rd quarter. Each team returned a kickoff for a touchdown to begin the 3rd quarter. All in the first 24 seconds of this half. Justin Gilbert 100 for Oklahoma State. Fozzie Whitaker 100 on the return for Texas. Back in Austin, Texas, where Oklahoma State is leading Texas 38-24. As we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championship with the start of the 4th quarter. Sean McDonough, Matt Millen, Samantha Steele. Big 3rd down here for Texas. 3rd and 5. Whitaker again takes the direct snap. Faked it to Jackson Shipley. Has the first down inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Deon Amadi, backup defensive back, made the tackle, but it's a 15-yard run by Whitaker.
Whitaker is the guy who's carrying his team right now. Did I mention that Cody Johnson likes to block? And he just fouls Cody Johnson. That's a nice job. Just a big first down, which they had to have. I would get him integrated more into this game plan right now.
You mentioned 200 yards rushing, the magic number. That's why Mac Brown pointed at it, apparently. They snap it to him again. They've never lost under Brown when rushing for 200. 70-0. They're comfortably over 200 today. Whitaker ahead for 2 yards. Caleb Levy made the tackle. 2nd and 8 upcoming from inside the 18-yard line. No wonder Mac picked that number. It wasn't right out of thin air. He knows all the stats.
Yes, he does.
He needed to rush for 200, he said. He's never lost. I mean, there could be a couple of firsts today. First loss with 200 yards rushing. First loss after the Red River rivalry in the game immediately following the Oklahoma matchup. 12th play of the drive. 1 minute into the 4th quarter. Ash throws, caught. Marquise Goodwin, first down. 8-yard line, 1st and goal, Texas. Trying to get back within a touchdown.
That was brought to you completely by the feet of David Ash. Good coverage down the field. He feels the pressure. Now watch, eyes go back up. And when he does that, Goodwin slips from his coverage and is able to get the first.
This is an area this season where Texas has struggled in the red zone. Handoff, Malcolm Brown driving his legs down to the 4-yard line. 2nd and goal.
Boy, I like that Cody Johnson. He is physical inside. You don't see a lot of fullback. They're kind of phasing fullbacks out on all levels of football.
Which is a shame.
It is, because that guy, right, that's a good football player. He's tough, sticks his face in when he has to, finishes blocks. Good 250-pounder. Look at his helmet. That's what a fullback's helmet's supposed to look like.
If they get a little closer to the goal line without scoring, you'd probably see him back in there again. He has 34 career rushing touchdowns, many of them from close range. Direct snap, Malcolm Brown sidesteps some piles near the line, got only a yard. 3rd and goal. You'd have to think 4-down territory here.
Yeah, that's what I would not. But you know what, Sean, what I don't understand, and I'm not the offensive coordinator, you're having success pounding the middle of that defense. Don't get cute. Line up. Bring Cody back in. Just pound in the middle where your offensive line has been opening holes.
They have Johnson back in the game. Another ball control drive. They've done that all day, which was a huge part of their strategy. Timeout. called by Ash. The play clock was at 7. I think Mack Brown has to be very pleased with the way young David Ash has managed his team today. We're back in Austin, Texas. Mack Brown's Longhorns, an underdog at home, trying to pull off the upset. They've done so many of the things he said they needed to do to defeat this outstanding Oklahoma State team. But they're still down by 14. 3rd down and goal, Texas from the 3. Cody Johnson is the tailback. Ash faked it to him. Option to throw it or run. He throws. Incomplete.
It's inexperience right there, Sean. Inexperience because he hesitated. He had once he got to the edge, he could have been able to make a throw. He didn't make it.
And we welcome those of you who just watched Ohio State defeat Illinois, handing the Illini their first loss of the season. Sean McDonough, Matt Millen, Samantha Steele in Austin, Texas. Oklahoma State, number 6 in the country, leading 38-24. But Texas with a chance to get within a touchdown, going for it on 4th down and goal from the 3-yard line. True freshman David Ash is the quarterback in the shotgun, making his first career start today. Pressure immediately off the corner. He throws. Did he get in the end zone? No! Whitaker made the catch. They're going to mark him down inches short of the goal line. The throw was a little bit low. Whitaker couldn't stay on his feet. And Mack Brown's Longhorns inches from making it a 1-touchdown game. Turn it over on downs instead.
Sean.
Whoa, they're going to take a look at this.
Here's the problem. It was he needed to get the ball out quicker.
Yeah, he did not get in. Knee down before that ball gets to the goal line. Well, quicker or higher. I mean, even if he threw it at the speed he did, Matt, he's wide open there. If he throws a ball,
you can see right there, he's down. But Sean, that play is designed. As soon as Whitaker turns his head, the ball, you get right to him.
Yeah, you're right. But hit him in the number 2, and it's a touchdown,
6
even
points.
if it is late. Crowd wants a review. They've been looking at the Jumbotron, and I don't know if they're looking at the same replay we're seeing, but Mack Brown being reassured they're looking at it. It looks like he wants to burn a timeout to give him more time. Now they snap it. Did they get out of the end zone? Joseph Randall, yes, he did. Whoa. Just barely. The official on the far side of the field indicates he got out comfortably. The official on the near side, not so much. And if he got out, he barely got across that line. Crowd booing. Some of them think the Texas Longhorns have been victimized 2 plays in a row. Think they're wrong both times. It's interesting they make more noise booing the officials than they do cheering on their own team. Weeden, they come after him again. He steps out of the back of the end zone for a safety. Threw an incomplete pass, an interception rather, that gets run in.
That's a safety.
But they're going to stop it because he was out of the back of the end zone first for a safety. Crowd doesn't realize that, but it looked like Mike DeFee, the referee, was signaling safety.
And that's DeFee's job, is to watch that quarterback.
And he clearly stepped out.
The quarterback stepped out of the end zone prior to the pass. It's a safety.
Right call.
These people have booed 3 correct calls in a row. It is a safety. Clearly he was out of the back of the end zone before he threw the ball.
One of the things that Weeden, let's 2 things wrong. There it is right there. 2 things. You know you don't drift. You start to feel pressure, you can't drift. You have to know where he's at, so that's not a good job of realizing where he's at.
Rare mistake of that type by the 28-year-old senior Brandon Weeden.
You know, lost in there, that Alex Okafor had a heck of a power rush on Parker Graham. You like to see who steps up to the plate. Well, that time Okafor stepped up to the plate. Now it won't show up in the stats, but he's the reason they got 2 points.
And Mack Brown said to us yesterday, we're young, but we're talented. We're certainly better than a year ago. This isn't going to repeat 5 and 7 of last year when he changed 5 coaches on his staff. And after seeing them, a lot of times that sounds like coach speak, Mac, but after seeing them in person today, you'd have to believe that's true.
You know, Sean, you and I, we sat and watched and we talked about it and we analyzed this. And I got to tell you, from a week ago to this week, their offensive line has done remarkably better. So credit Mac, Coach Mack and his staff, because they got after it this week and they have played much better.
Free kick from the 20. They decide to put it on a tee. Quinn Sharp sends it to Whitaker. For those just joining us, he returned one for a touchdown earlier in this half, right after Justin Gilbert of Oklahoma State returned the opening kickoff of the half for a touchdown for OSU. Part of our Pac Life game summary. First time that had happened in FBS football since 2005. Ohio U and Ball State back-to-back kickoff returns for touchdown. Weeden held to 216 yards, well below his average. And Malcolm Brown, the freshman, with the biggest game of his career. 2 long touchdown runs for Jeremy Smith of Oklahoma State.
I see Cody Johnson's in now. You give it to Malcolm Brown and let him follow him.
Line of scrimmage, the 41. Still a 2-score game. Ash, the play action fake. He's in trouble. Gets away. Got away from James Castleman, then threw an incomplete pass. Here's Robert Flores. Or check that. We're going to audible and stay right here.
Checked at the line of scrimmage. It's a green 19. And that was a nice check at the line of scrimmage there by Ash, because he was able to get away from some pressure. Again, that's the feet, Sean, that's able to get him out of it. Not so sure what would have happened even a week ago.
Whitaker sent in motion. Takes the swing from Ash, and he's chopped down immediately by Broderick Brown.
What a great play by Broderick Brown. That is one of my favorite players in college football.
You're accumulating a lot of favorites.
I have a lot of them.
Though.
I have a lot of them.
Rex Burkhead last week.
Oh boy, he played great, didn't he?
Cody Johnson today.
I like him too.
Broderick Brown.
I like him. Broderick Brown's a tough guy. Not a real big guy. You know, they say they credit, he had to go as a freshman, had to go against Des Bryant every single day, and he never backed down.
Yeah, that'll make you better and make you tougher. Lost the 3, 3rd and 13. Just a 3-man rush, and still some pressure on Ash, and they take him down back at the 31-yard line.
That is good coverage also, Sean. The coverage is what gives you the sack. Look down the field, there's nowhere to go. Now he has to take off and try to run, and that's when they run him down. Look to the top side, Whitaker covered. On the outside, nowhere to go with Davis. He came to the near side, and there was good coverage by Gilbert, and that forced the sack.
And the sack by Wilson Yeoman, who's a two-way player. He's also a tight end. They don't play a lot with a tight end. Fair catch made by Justin Blackmon. They hit him, and here comes the flag.
Yep.
Jamison Berryhill with the mistake for Texas. 39-yard punt. Just the second penalty against Texas. Oklahoma State's been flagged just once today. Officials are talking about it now.
Maybe he was forced into the receiver.
Kick catch interference, kicking team. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. It'll be 1st and 10.
At the 45-yard line of Oklahoma State. 9:42 to go. Cowboys with the ball and a 12-point lead.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. The 2011 Ford F-150. Built Ford tough. And Aflac, official partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Well, every evening right around dusk, hundreds of people gather here in Austin to see, as you saw, the world's largest urban bat colony emerge from under the Congress Avenue Bridge. They estimate there's more than 1 million of them. Those bats devour up to 20,000 pounds of insects Knightley. Joseph Randall gobbled up. Now, do other cities have their own urban bat colonies? I didn't know. Are there urban bat clubs?
No, they're not. I do know this. Bats are good.
See,
Very
you say
good.
that, but to me, they're flying rats. I don't like them.
I like them. I have some bat houses at home. We have a problem in northeastern Pennsylvania, not having enough. They got some kind of a weird bacteria that's killing them off.
Austin can loan you a few bats.
I will take them.
Joseph Randall on 2nd and 13. And wrapped up again by Kenny Vaccaro. Just shy of the 45-yard line. 3rd down, just more than 10. With 9 minutes to go.
2 things, Sean. One is they've slowed their pace down. This is not the same pace that we've seen. And they have not been effective. It's a big 3rd down for both teams right here.
Brandon Weeden. Out of the gun. 5-man rush. They forced him backwards. He throws. Almost intercepted. Quandre Diggs could not hang on.
But they do stop him. And that's a big stop right there. They only with 3. They're going to rush 5, Sean. They keep 6. But Diggs has an opportunity. Here's the difference between a good play and a great play. There's a good play. You broke it up. The great play would have been the pick.
Adrian Phillips hurt on the play. Defensive back for Texas was coming on the rush. Boy, Diggs, chance to make a big play and could not. He's the brother of the former Texas All-American defensive back Quentin Jammer, now with the Chargers. Phillips took a helmet to the body as he was blocked coming on the blitz. Adrian Phillips walked off field under his own power, an apparent right arm injury, perhaps his right shoulder. Where's Quinn Sharp to punt? On 4th down and 11. They come after the punt. Did not get there. Short kick, fair catch signaled and made by Jackson Shipley. Here's Robert Flores with an update.
All right, Sean, coming up on ABC after college football, it's NASCAR's Chase for the Cup. Bank of America 500 from Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's smoke. Tony Stewart, he's on the pole for tonight's race. That's coming up next on ABC. Sean.
All right, Robert, thank you. We'll look forward to that. Still 8:24 to go here. Texas with the ball, down by 12. Hand off to Jackson Shipley. Out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Antoine Lowe chased him out. Well, Mac Brown says, like his brother, Jackson Shipley's going to be a special player. He said he might even be better. And when you think of what a great receiver Jordan Shipley was here, that's saying a lot.
Well, he's great sense of the game and really good football intelligence. He knows how to play the game and sits down in zones and understands man coverage, knows what he is. He does well.
And been able to throw it to him today. Ash throws short. Barrett Matthews. They don't use the tight ends and H-backs very much as receivers, but Matthews had the catch, his 2nd of the year. 6-yard gain. It is a 1st down.
So now, Sean, at the 8-minute mark, you're going to have a little more sense of urgency here. Still 2 scores.
And almost midway through the 4th quarter now. 1st and 10. 5-man rush for Oklahoma State. And the pass incomplete. Mac Brown wants a flag. He's not going to get it against Justin Gilbert, who was covering Mike Davis.
Mike Davis has been their go-to guy all day. That's a good no call right there. Gilbert has played pretty well defensively in addition to that 100-yard kickoff return.
You have to like their secondary with Brown and Gilbert, the corners. Markel Martin, one of the best safeties in the country, and Antoine Lowe, the other safeties, their leading tackler for the year. They're solid in the back. Ash on 2nd and 10. Throws across the middle of the field. First catch of the day for Jackson Shipley. Tackled immediately by Alex Elkins. 8-yard gain, 3rd down and 2.
Well, here we go back to that 3rd and manageable. They're under that 4-yard mark. They've had some success in the 3rd and shorts. They've not done very well in 3rd and long.
Overall, it adds up to 6 out of 17 on 3rd down. 7 minutes to go, taking a lot of time in the huddle. Play clock at 10 as they snapped it. They decide to pass over the middle. Shipley in traffic, ran into his own man Cody Johnson, but held on and got the 1st down. 39-yard line. And the coaches of Texas want the Horns to hurry up.
Sean Lewis tries to get a jam on him, and Cody Johnson was just kind of like trying to get up. Almost was a good defender there.
Six and a half minutes to go. Ash over the middle. They're going to the dink and dunk, and they are moving. But the clock is becoming the enemy of Texas. Marquise Goodwin.
They need to run their offense at the line of scrimmage, which they're trying to do right now.
Gain of 8, 2nd and 2. Ash stays patient, finds Shipley down the far sideline. He's out of bounds at the 43, just inside the 43. They'll call it the 42. 9-yard gain. Well, Shipley in the passing game was in the witness protection program until this drive. 3 catches on this possession of their 7 plays to this point. Ash again taking what's there. They'll get inside the 40 on the catch by Davis. They have enough time to do this.
Yeah, they do, and they're doing a nice job at the line of scrimmage and getting to the line of scrimmage in time.
Ash steers one. Wow. Boy, he really did throw a softball there to Darius White and got away with it. It's almost like he was afraid to let it go, and he didn't have a lot on it.
Yeah, because Markel Martin read it the whole way. Markel Martin, one of the good safeties in the NCAA.
First down to the 31-yard line. Gain of 7. And a false start against Texas.
False start, offense, number 72, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Mason Walters, the right guard, brings a lot of toughness and attitude to that offensive line. Here's a look at the passing day for Ash.
Well, it's all, you take a look at it, he's tried 5 past 15 yards, but for the majority of the time, he's thrown underneath.
Now a flag thrown behind the defense.
Illegal substitution violation defense. 12 men, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Well, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. See if you can get away with 12. Bill Young not happy about it, so that just gives them back the 5 on the illegal procedure. What a good football coach Bill Young is.
Has been for a long time.
Back at his alma mater now as the defensive coordinator. Ash deep.
Missed it.
They still can't throw one deep.
Yeah, he's got the arm strength for it. But it looks like he's just more comfortable in that intermediate. And part of that is what the defense is doing also, Sean. They're not going to let him get beyond. They're not going to let him get on top of him.
2 interceptions last week that got a lot of attention. Out of the 5 turnovers Texas committed, the early interception today. I understand why the true freshman in his first start would be very careful with those deep throws. Taking nearly 4 minutes off the clock. 4:40 to go. Ash needs to get rid of it. He lost a football, and Oklahoma State has recovered. Daytwan Lowe knocked it out, and Cooper Bassett recovered for the Cowboys.
Well, they never got a hand on him. Daytwan Lowe comes right over here on this side. And you're going to see him, nobody touches him. Right around the edge. Usually you go big on big outside, which they did, but they forgot to take Daquan low. And a nice job of Lowe stripping the ball also.
It looked like Ash knew he was coming. He took a peek over his shoulder. And once he knew that Lowe was that close, he had to get rid of the ball. 4th sack of the day for Oklahoma State. And the second takeaway by a defense that has specialized in it this year. Huge play in the game. Now they're trying to seal it, and Randall with a tough run. Blake Gideon finally got him on the field turf, but it's 11 yards on the run for Joseph Randall and a first down at the Texas 46. 58 yards rushing for Randall.
Sometimes, and it's rare, you do all the things that you said you needed to do to win the game, and you still don't do it. I remember watching a game of Monday Night Football a few years back with Indianapolis Colts in Miami. Miami did everything, much like this game. Ran the football, controlled the clock. It wasn't enough.
Randall, the line of scrimmage, perhaps a yard to the 45. And I think that's testimony to what a good team, outstanding team Oklahoma State is. You know, on a day when you're Texas and you did a lot of the things you said you needed to do to win, you're still probably not going to win unless there's a dramatic development now in these last 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
The one thing that they didn't get done, Mac Brown was adamant about, was they had to win the turnover battle. And that's
2-1
yeah,
in Oklahoma State's favor. And Weeden wisely milking the play clock. Jeremy Smith turns the corner and stays in bounds. It has a first down. Boy, his yards per carry today has been impressive.
Well, this Oklahoma State offense never really found the rhythm. In the first half, they talked about it at halftime. They still never really found it, but they came up with the plays, Sean, particularly defensively, when they had to. A timely turnover, a big sack, and then they put enough points on the board. Todd Monken, their offensive coordinator, they're going to go back and look at this one. It certainly wasn't what it was a week ago against Kansas.
They're playing a much better team.
It is a much better team.
And they're playing on the road. There's Randall. That last carry by Smith, good for 18 yards, means today he has 6 rushes for 140. 23.3 per rush. He's manned up. Move over Tim Allen. ABC Tuesday's about to get a lot manlier. And even funnier with the premiere of Man Up, the new comedy that proves men will be boys. It's ABC's Man Up, premiering this Tuesday at 8:30, 7:30 Central, right after The Last Man Standing on ABC.
Well, defensively, led by Jamie Blatnick there, number 50. Shetty Jones, 99. They manned up. Came through with a big play when they had to.
They're trying to run out the clock. Joseph Randall powers down a yard short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1, under 2 minutes to go. Texas with 2 timeouts left. Mac Brown doesn't seem inclined to use them.
Well, I got to tell you, Sean, and we've talked about it a couple times, but they got better in a week. That's a good sign. This is a much better football team this week than it was a week ago. And I'm not, I think Oklahoma's offensive defensive lines are better, more physical than Oklahoma State's. But having said that, they took a step in the right direction.
With the most points they've ever scored here. Randall didn't get there on 3rd down and 1. Now will Mac Brown use the timeout? Yes, they do. About 5 seconds ran off the clock. 4th and 1 when we come back.
I'm Robert Flores with this update. Ole Miss 0-5 in their last 5 games against ranked opponents, but hanging tough against Alabama. But Crimson Tide's Trent Richardson 2 touchdowns. They lead right now by 7 on ESPN2. Virginia upsets number 12 Georgia Tech by 3. Sean.
Wow. All right, Flo, thank you very much. 4th down here. Oklahoma State with a chance to cement it with a 4th down conversion. They're 2 for 2 today on 4th downs. Weeden hands it off, and Smith didn't get there. Well, one of the things every Texas player we talked to yesterday talked about, even when it was obvious last week against Oklahoma, the outcome was no longer in doubt. They kept fighting all the way to the end, and they're fighting all the way to the end of this one too. Last year, there were times it looked like the Longhorns quit.
Well, they're no quitting them, and it's a young team too, and they got a lot to prove. Also shows one of the negatives for this Oklahoma State team is that tough short yardage.
Yeah, they're really not built for it. Although they do have guys who specialize in the fullback role and tight ends. The Longhorn Network will have plenty of post-game coverage, as they do following every Texas game. Minute to go. Ash couldn't stay on his feet. They got enough of a piece of Ash to make him go down back at the 14-yard line. Fifth sack of the day for Oklahoma State. And Ash and the Longhorns have just about been extinguished. Gotta get them all out now, Matt. Only 40 seconds to go. I don't know what you were boom-booming about the previous play, but apparently you heard something that was not intended. Let's take a look at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. And it is the interception by Caleb Levy, native Texan. One of 70 Texans on the Oklahoma State roster out of their 123 players, 48 of them on scholarship. That was an interception back in the first quarter that they turned into a touchdown. He's a good player.
And he's gotten better.
The linebackers were a bit of a concern earlier for the coaches, not so much lately. Here's Ash. Tackled by Justin Gilbert. He got the first down to the 31-yard line with a 17-yard run. You think Ash has done enough to demonstrate he's worthy of being the #1 quarterback by himself going forward?
The things that he didn't do well are all experiential, and so I needs to get the ball out quicker a few times, have a little bit better presence. Another pick right there.
Yep. But in this juncture, you really do have to force the ball down the field. He did, and James Thomas picked it off. Third takeaway for Oklahoma State. And because of the route, which the Texas folks thought was an aberration last week, a lot of people thought this would be easy for Oklahoma State. I think what we've learned today is a very quality win against a young, improving team. It'll get them to 6-0. And here's the road ahead, on the road at Missouri next time out. There's some very tough games left, but that December 3rd matchup looms as a tasty treat for fans of football in the state of Oklahoma if they both win out.
Got Baylor, Kansas State, and then that Oklahoma game sitting down there, like you said, Sean. It's not going to be an easy road for Oklahoma State, and they'll need to find their rhythm, which they never really did today. And having said that, they didn't find the rhythm, and they still put 38 points on the board.
And they beat Texas back-to-back years for the first time ever. They're 6-0 in consecutive seasons for the first time. They win 38-26. Mac Brown loses for the first time ever with 200 yards rushing, and loses the week after the Red River rivalry for the first time. Coming up next on ABC, the Bank of America 500. For Matt and Samantha, Sean McDonough saying so long from Austin.